Welcome to our course of Adobe Photoshop. In this course, we are going to learn about Adobe Photoshop Essentials and Basic. So Adobe Photoshop is a software that is extensively used for raster image editing, graphic design, and digital art. It makes use of layering to allow for depth and flexibility in the design and editing process, as well as provide powerful editing tools that are capable of just about anything. It was created by brothers Thomas and John Null in 1988, and in 1989 John sold the program to Adobe System. Okay, so in this lesson or in this course, we are going to learn about what Photoshop is. I've already given you a small brief about what Photoshop is. Then we are going to learn about the usage of Adobe Photoshop, because there are different type of categories of work that people can do by using Adobe Photoshop. Then we are going to learn how to use the tools of Adobe Photoshop. There is a vast amount and a big source of tools that Adobe Photoshop provides, and you can use almost every of the tools with having full functionality, such as subscribing to their program or also your subscription. And then about the interface of Photoshop, because also some people find Adobe Photoshop to be quite complex and hard, but I'm going to give you a beginner friendly course on how you will be able to get familiar with the interface of Adobe Photoshop. Okay, then we are going to learn about how to use Photoshop for editing photos, because this software is about manipulating and editing photos. Okay, then at the end of this course, we will be able to learn to use and learn about Photoshop easily, because just as I told you from the beginning that some people do find Photoshop to be quite complex. So I will help you through the process about using and learning about Photoshop easily. Use and learn about the tools in Photoshop. Almost all of the tools and the usage of the tools of Adobe Photoshop has been covered in this course. Use and learn about the full functionality in Adobe Photoshop, because Adobe has also a vast amount of functionality, and each of the tabs contain like couple and tons of tools which you'll be able to use, then use for various purposes such as career and also casual use. Because Adobe Photoshop is one of the most familiar and also the most used photo manipulating software, and also most people use it, such as photographers and also career developers. Okay, so hope to see you guys in my course, and thank you for staying with us. Welcome to our new course of Adobe Photoshop. First off, in this lesson and in this course, we are going to learn all about the basics of Adobe Photoshop. What tools it has, what functionality does it provide, and how are you going to use the tools in Adobe Photoshop, and the last of all, how to do your work in Adobe Photoshop. In this first lesson, we are going to learn all about Photoshop, the tools, like couple of them, and also about the interface of Adobe Photoshop. So let's start off by knowing what Adobe Photoshop means. Adobe Photoshop is a software that is extensively used for raster image editing, graphic design, and digital art. It makes use of layering to allow for depth and flexibility in the design and editing process, as well as provide powerful editing tools that when combined are capable of just about anything. Okay, so this is basically a photo manipulating software which is powered by Adobe. Okay, so first thing you have to keep in mind that it is a lot like other photo editing softwares like Lightroom and all of those, but as this is one of the most powerful and one of the most used photo editing software, and also by professionals, it is a bit of complex, but if you know how it is, obviously you will also get friendly with it. So we are going to help you throughout the process of how you are going to be able to use Adobe Photoshop. So first thing is that you have to use the most newest or latest version of Adobe Photoshop when you are working. So I'm using 2023 of Adobe Photoshop. Okay, so that you get all of the tools and Adobe Photoshop has to offer, and also a couple of bug fixes. So what we're going to do now is know about what it is used for. Okay, so first off, we have to know that Adobe Photoshop was originally developed in 1987 by Thomas and John Null. Okay, obviously, what is there a problem to know about a software when it was developed? Okay, so with the basic use of Adobe Photoshop is most of the time used by professional because it is the industry standard photo editing software. Okay, and the go-to application for everything from small retouching changes to mind-bending photo art. Photoshop is where editors crop photos, adjust photo composition, correct lighting, and make any subject imaginable look its absolute best. Okay, first off, we now know what Adobe Photoshop is and what is the use of it and why is it very popular. Okay, just that I told you from what is the usage of Adobe Photoshop. So first things first, we can see that in the interface of Adobe Photoshop, this is how it will look like. You can see file, edit, image, layer, type, select, filter, 3D view, plugin, windows, and help. We will go through each and every one of them in a later lesson. So first things first, what you have to do is know about how you'll be able to start your work in Adobe Photoshop. You can see that there are two of these options, new file, open, and home, which is the section, the home. Okay, with the screen which you see, this is the home. And you can also see welcome to Photoshop, drag and drop your file or select one from your computer to get started. You can open up new files from over here, but if you have an older file which you want to start working on again and open it up on Adobe Photoshop, click on open. And it will, both of these options will open up an interface where you will be able to select any of the documents or any of the file which you want to start working on. So first I'm going to click on new file. You can see an interface like this will open up. This is the recent saved photo, print, art and illustration, web, model, film, and video. Well, these are the types of format of, the panel or the screen which you want to start working on, or let's say the page or the size of the page. You can see recent is this one, which is which is the default in Adobe Photoshop. Then is saved, whichever preset or whichever size of the page you use will be saved over here. You can also search for templates on Adobe stock. You have to stay connected to the internet too to have that access. Then we have is photo, which is going to be the photo sized. Okay, then is the print sized, which is all the paper size, which you can see over here. Select whichever one you want. Then we have is art and illustration, which is 2000 pixel grid, and all of those you can use any of them you want. You can also see that there are the resolution over here, which is for 720p and also 1080p. Okay, then let's just go to web. This is the web structure, or how you will be seeing that photo or whichever project you are doing in Adobe Photoshop to see in websites. And this is the mobile view, which mobile you want to specifically display it to. And also we have film and video. Okay, the size of the videos which people make, such as YouTube and all those screens which you can see over here, it is extended up to 8K films. Okay, so let's just go to recent, and you can also see an interface like this appears up, which you'll be able to make your own preset or your own, detail or the size of the paper where you want to start working on. You can name your preset. Let's say the first name should be GHG. Okay, I'm not going to name anything like that. Let's say GOAT. Okay, then you can select the width. First off, you can select whichever format you want it on. Pixels, inches, centimeters, millimeter, point, and picas, which is also quite the same from Adobe Illustrator if you're familiar with that. Okay, first off, what we're going to do is going to be select on inches or whichever size you want, but I most of the time prefer on millimeters. But let's say I'm going to show you on inches. Okay, so let's say the width, you can number your width. Let's say I want it to be 10 and I want the height to be 5, or let's say 7. Okay, and you can select the resolution of whichever one you want. Let's say if you want pixel per inch or pixel per centimeter, you can select that, whichever one you want. Okay, let's say I'm going to keep it on inch. Resolution should be 1080p, 1080. Let's say the color mode, you can select whichever color mode you want. You have CMYK, grayscale, bitmap, lap color. Well, most of the time I try using CMYK color on Adobe Lightroom and Adobe Illustrator. Okay, so I just gonna keep it on CMYK and then select the color mode 16-bit or 18-bit, which is a bit of complex for you right now, but let me describe it to you what the bit does in color mode. So what the bit actually does is that the bit or the bit depth of an image determines how many shades or level of color there are in each channel, or such as cells, or we can also say, centimeters or inches, which I'm using right now. Okay, this is going to be denser than this one. Okay, if you select 16-bit and 8-bit. So I'm going to keep on 8-bit right now to keep the resolution good. Now what you're going to do is select the background content. Okay, you can select whichever color type you want, whichever color you want to use. It adds background. Let's say I'm going to keep it on white. You can also select it from here by using this panel. Let's say I want to use this color. Let's click on OK, and you will see that color will be added to the background. Okay, but I'm going to keep it on white because that's more, looks a lot more better. I'm going to keep it on OK. Now what you're going to do is, if you want to go to advanced option, you can also select that, but which you can see over here. Then you can select the like color profile, whichever color profile you want, which is also kind of like, presets. Let's say I'm going to use Japan color 2001 uncoded, and I'm going to select the pixel ratio. Let's say square pixels, or whichever one you want. Let's say you have also HDV, which is the resolution and all of those. Let's say from here I'm going to keep it on the custom, or whichever one it's on default. Okay, square pixel. Now I'm going to do is, if you want to start working on, you can like select whichever one you want to. Okay, that will also be okay, but I'm going to do is use the recent one, which I made right now. Okay, what you have to do is, edit it. And then let's say I'm going to do is keep it on CMYK first, and keep it on Japan coded 2001 uncoded. Let's say we chose 1080p, 1080, height to be 8 or 7. Let's say I'm going to keep it on 7, which I did previously, and I'm going to press create. You will see that an interface like this will open up, where you will be able to start all of your works. You can also see the tools over here. If you want to change the interface of how Adobe Photoshop works, what you're going to do is click on Windows. You can select on workspace, and I'm going to suggest you to use, essential, which is like on default, but you can also go to new workspace and photography painting, whichever work you want to start working on, so that you're going to see all of those tools at first. Okay, but I'm going to keep it on essential because this is the basics of Adobe Photoshop and how you'll be able to use it and start learning it too. So first off, I'm going to do is go back again, go on home. Now, if you want to open up older worked projects, or photos, videos, not videos but photos actually, so what you're going to do is just click on the select one. You can see an interface like this will also open up. Okay, so here I have my photo. I'm going to click on open, or select whichever one you want, click on open, and you will see it will process for a while and then put it directly on Adobe Photoshop. So that is how you'll be able to open up new projects or older projects in Adobe Photoshop. But there is also another way of how you can do that. It's going to be, let's say I'm going to minimize it for a while. You can see that I have my photos over here too. What I'm going to do is going to be, let's say I'm going to click on this one and drag it right over here. And you will see it will take a couple of time, and it will open up on Adobe Photoshop. That is very simple, right? Of how you'll be able to open up older projects or whichever photo you want to start working on. But another advantage of using Photoshop is that you can also go to the previously, put, photo back again by using these tabs, okay, which you most of the time use in web browsers and all of those. It's kind of like that. You can also cut it by clicking on this. Let's say I'm going to, remove it, and you can see that has been removed. Very simple, right? Okay, so now you know how you'll be able to open up or, create a new let's say screen or panel or background, whichever one you say, or start working on. Now, the first thing what we're going to do is go to the blank page and show you a couple of tools, okay, or how the interface actually works. So you can see the same options are also over here, which is like, very essential to stay in or like while working. Then we have the home. We can just click on it and it will take us directly to the home tab or home panel. Now I'm going to select on this again. You can see the same, the same file has opened up. But you can also go to the one we removed. Just click on this option and it will open up on the same panel or same, working project, which is very simple. Now we have is this tool, which is also kind of like a border tool, okay, which you can select on this and select on whichever photo you want to use. Let's say I'm going to drag it, or you can open up a new panel where you can work on just individually. That is also allowed in Adobe Photoshop. Then we have is this mode and this mode. So These are kind of like, selection panels, or, let's say I'm going to keep it like this. Okay, you will also see the info if you just, click it on, or keep your mouse on over it. You can see new selection. Then we have is add to selection. Then you can subtract from selection, and you can insert or intersect with selection. You can like select the photos and do whichever one you want. What you have to do is, control, and you will see all of them will be selected. And that is very simple. Then we have is the feather, then the anti-alias, then the style, width, height, and select and mask. Well, let's first go through these tools, okay? Which is going to be the feather. This depends on how smooth or how hard you want your photo to look like. Let's say I'm going to do is keep it on 40. Hit on enter, and you will see that nothing will change. Obviously, when you select the part which you want to change, only then it will be, customized, or it will be, reverted or changed. Okay. Then we have is anti-alias. What you have to do is, let's say I'm going to select on this part. What I'm going to do is, let's say, select on this, and I can move it wherever I want. Okay, just as you can see. But you can also use different tools such as, undo and redo, which is also allowed to do over here. To undo and redo, what you have to do is press on the shortcut keys of, which you use in Microsoft Words, Photoshops, and all of those. Let's say I'm going to do is Control Z, and you can see undo has been done. You can also use a couple of other tools or other, shortcut keys, such as, let's say copy, cut, and paste, by using the same keyboard shortcuts which we use in those software such as, Microsoft Word and all of those. Okay, what you have to do is press on Control Z to undo. Let's say I'm going to copy this, Control C. I'm going to go to other page, Control V. You can see that photo has appeared over here, which is like very simple, right? Now we know how to do that. If you want to cut it, what you have to do is Control X. You can see that part has been cut. Control V to paste it back again. And if you want to undo it, Control Z, and you can redo it by Control Y. You can also see that the layer, or what we call is the color mode, changing. You can see CMYK and not CMYK. See, that is also doable. Now, the next things we have to know about these tools, or you can also extend it so that you can see it over here. This panel, and this panel. Okay, you can see the style mode of the text or the ratio, whichever one you want. It's just going to be over here. You can select fixed ratio and all of those. You can then select the width. Let's say select the width to be 5, hit on 5, and height to be 2. First, what you have to do is select this, photo 2. Select the photo. Now I'm going to do is select on this, double click, or layer 1 background, and all of those. You can see those options. Now what I'm going to do is going to be a bit different. You can also see transform control, and you can see the outlines of the photo has appeared up. So we know how to do stuff like those, which is kind of like the basic. Then we have is these tools which you can see over here: color, swatches, gradient, pattern. Okay, we will go through each and every one of those tools later in this lesson because we cannot complete all of it in the first lesson, obviously. First, I'm going to show you the interface and then talk to you about, individual tools and individual, like, let's say, sections or where the tool is found. First off, in the color section, you are going to be able to edit all about the colors in the specific photo which you're working on, such as this one. You can select the color and all of those. You can edit it later on. Then you can do properties of adjustment, libraries, and all of those. Then we have swatches, which is also kind of like the RGB section where you will be able to fix your color and all of those, such as, color mode and all of those. Let's say I'm going to keep it to be something like this. I'm going to click on this option. Let's say I'm going to keep this part to be something like this. Control Z to undo it. And you'll be able to fix the adjustment, libraries, and all of those too. Then we have its gradients. If you want to add gradients to your photo or the selected part or you want to edit, you'll be able to do that. Then we have its patterns. If you want to like edit in a couple of patterns in your photo, let's say I'm going to keep it like this, and you can see that photo has turned into a background or, specific pattern which we used. So this is how you'll be able to do or find those tools over here on the right side of, Adobe Photoshop, which is also kind of like this. But there are a couple more like properties, adjustment, libraries, patterns, or layers, channels, and paths. I'm going to press Control Z to go back to the photo, which I had right now. I'm going to cut it for a while. I'm going to do save changes, yes, or maybe no, if you want it. or if you don't want it, no, I'm gonna delete it. I'm gonna keep it to be something like this. I'm gonna paste it on over here, or whichever one I want, and I keep it over here. Now you can also like add in layers, so that when you do, you know, editing on a specific layer and you go like you do some mistakes and you have to like undo or sometimes even delete that file, okay? But if you add in layers, then you are going to be able to have that advantage of, you know, removing that layer where you did your mistake on, and you can like start working back on where you ended your progress or what it came to a mistake. You can also select channels from over here, which you will be able to select, which is a lot like, you know, colors and all of those. Let's say I'm going to use green. You can use RGB red and all of those, okay, which is like doable from over here. You can also select paths. Well, this is kind of like all you have to know about this right side tool, which you can see in Adobe Photoshop. Then we have is this tools such as, you know, move tool, rectangular mark tool, lasso tool, and you will see also a couple of options if you press on your right mouse key. And you can also see the, you know, the tools which has this, you know, corner, right bottom corner, you know, which this markup or, you know, this icon is. You will see when you click on the right tool, right click, and you will see a couple of these tools will appear up. Okay, you can also select or create your rectangle on your own by using this rectangle tool, text, shape, you know, search, then gradient. Then this is also, you know, a kind of tool which is like history brush tool. You will see a preview like this tool, which is also can be used to remove your, you know, object. Brush tool. Then we have is pick tool, eyedropper. Then we have is crop, then lasso, and all of those. You will see these options over here. Object selection, frame tool. Then we have is spot healing, which we also did back in Adobe Lightroom. Then we have is razor tool. This is blur tool. Then this is going to be pen tool and path selection tool, then hand tool, then edit toolbar, and all of this color section. And last of all, we have is this tool, edit in queue, like quick mask mode, and also change screen mode by selecting or, you know, pressing F. So this is all you have to know about the first lesson or the interface of Adobe Photoshop. And you can also see these tools of opacity, flow, and also the angle, okay, which you'll be able to do. Let's say try in 40, hit on enter, and 40 will not be applied because I did not edit anything, okay? So this is going to be the first lesson of Adobe Lightroom. And, you know, hope you understood everything about this interface of Adobe Photoshop. In this later lesson, we are going to learn about a couple of other functionality which Adobe Photoshop has to offer. And also later on, I'm going to show you all about these tools with examples and how you'll be able to use that. So thank you for watching this video and also for staying with us. Welcome back to our lesson of Adobe Photoshop. In this lesson, we are going to learn about the functionality Adobe Photoshop has to offer. So first off, we are going to start off with the File section or the File tab. Click on File and you can see a couple of these options will appear up, and a lot of those options or a lot of those functionality has their own, you know, assigned keyboard shortcuts, okay? Let's say if you want to open up a new tab such as, you know, new project, or which we call, you know, Adobe Photoshop, you know, panel, or whichever we, you know, say. You can open it up by clicking on Control N by just, you know, or pressing on this Control N. You can see that this is the options which is also shown in the first lesson of Adobe Photoshop. You'll be able to select the preset or the size of the paper which you want to start working on. Now let's say I want it till here, press on Create, and that will be, you know, applied. And we also have the photo which we used previously. Okay, so first off, we're going to start off with this and a couple of tools. First off, just as we said in the first lesson about the layering stuff. So I'm going to be clicking on layer, and I'm going to add in a layer. So I'm going to click on this option, pressing on adding another layer. So this is the first background and this is the layer. I'm going to click on another layer, and you'll be able to see it by clicking on this or unsee it, whichever or however you want. I'm going to press on this. Now let's say I'm going to add in, you know, whichever tool we want, or we also have these tools, okay? Then we have is monochrome, or, you know, selecting on the layer, whichever color we want. Let's say I'm going to need black and white, or you can also select the, you know, color of the paper, or, you know, fix the properties of it. I'm gonna clicking on layer again, black and white one, layer 2, layer 1. But if you don't want like specific layers, just click on delete, just as I told you, layer 1 delete, and that layer has been deleted. Okay, you can also do the channels over here, selecting on which type of panel you want. But I'm gonna go over here and fix it to whichever one I want. I'm gonna be clicking on layer again. Let's say I'm gonna add in layer over here. Now let's say I'm gonna move it for a while. Let's say I'm gonna click on this option and I'm gonna move it. I'm gonna do is press Ctrl Z. If it is in if you can't move it, then means it is a specific photo. Then what we're going to do is going to be clicking on this option now. And first off here, I'm going to be showing you 5 of the first tools in Adobe, Photoshop. But before that, I'm going to be also showing you a couple of these functionality the File tab has to offer. So let's start off by knowing more about the file section. Here you can open up, just as we did on the first lesson of starting, how you will be able to open up recently worked or previously worked projects. Then we have is browse and bridge. You will be able to browse so that you can use specific documents which you want to use. You can also open it as, then also open as smart object, open recent, the previous ones which we removed, those will appear here also. You can also close all, close others, so all of the panels will be closed, close others, and you will see that the preset or that page will be removed. I'm going to press on no. I'm going to keep it on here. Then we have is close, save as copy. You can also revert the project or revert the file into something else, which you will see over here. I'm gonna do is go over here, and then we have is export, generate. You can also export your photo which you worked on, and then also save it as whichever format you want. Then we have is generate. If you want a image asset, use image assets, just click on this image asset, and you'll be seeing that couple of image or image assets will be provided to you, or keep your photo as an asset. Okay, you can also go on files. Then we have is search, Adobe stock, place embedded, place linked, and all of those, automate, script, import. You can also import your photos from over here, such as video frames to layers and all of those, notes, we support, and all of those. We have in file info too. If you want to see the info of the file, just click on this option and this file info will appear up, which you're working on right now. You can see Pixel Matthias Redding, and this is also Pixel Matthias Redding, and also you will be able to add in your description, document title, author, and all of those. And after you're done, just click on OK, and every of the info will be added in by you. And that is how most of the photographers and editors and all of those publishers use this method of using Photoshop, naming them, and also keeping the ownership and all of those. Okay, and about the details. Then we have is last tools, which is going to be print one, copy, and also exit. If you want to have more options about the printing, and if you want to just without seeing anything or doing most of the settings, just print one, copy, and you will be able to see it and then fix it. Okay, you can also do that, which is going to be Alt Shift Control P. That is the shortcut key, but I'm going to suggest you to use clicking on this one, because sometimes Alt Shift and Control P is a bit far. Okay, so what you have to do is just click on this, or if you are used to this, just press on Alt Shift Control and P all together, and you will see one print will be copied, or one page will be printed. Okay, and the last we have is exit. So as we're done with the file tab in Adobe Photoshop, now we're going to learn about the 5 tools about Adobe Photoshop has to offer. So first off is going to be this tool, which is the move tool. You can also start using it by V. Click on this option and you'll be able to select a radius, or select, okay, I'm going to first convert to normal, and you'll be able to remove or move your object wherever you want. This is the use of this tool. You can now see that I am being able to move this or position this wherever I want of my photo. Double click on the outside and you will be able to see that the outline has been removed. Okay, I'm going to press on Ctrl Z again now as we are done. Then we have is, just as I told you, clicking on your right mouse key will allow you to see more tools. Let's say I'm going to open up an artboard tool now, press on V, and you can see I will be able to make an artboard. And you can see this artboard, or a couple, a lot like crop, but this is a specific artboard right now. You can also go back to your full self or full photo just by clicking on this option and press Ctrl Z and see that it has reverted back to itself. Then it is going to be the rectangular mark tool. There are also a couple of these tools which you can use, but I'm going to do is first one, rectangular mark tool. select on this option. Let's say I'm going to keep it like over here, or whichever one I want. Let's say this is not what I actually wanted. So I'm going to click on this option, and let's say rectangular mark tool. I'm going to click on this option. You can see a rectangle has been made, and you'll be able to select it or keep it wherever you want. You will be also able to copy that. Let's say I'm going to copy this section, Control C, or let's say I'm going to press on Alt and keep it over here. You can like not move selection because the selected area is empty. There has to be specific details and all of those to use this tool. Then let's go to the like elliptical mark tool, which is going to be a lot oval. Okay, now you can see this is a lot oval now. Then if you want to use certain ones, let's say single row mark tool. Let's say I'm going to use single row mark tool, and you can see this is a single row and the whole row has been selected all together. Then we can also use another one, which is going to be column mark tool. We can use it like this. Let's say this is the column, and this is how you'll be able to do that. Now we are done with these two tools in Adobe Photoshop, which is the first and second one. Okay, next one is going to be the lasso tool, which is also a lot important. So I'm going to press on undo first. Now you can press on this option and you will see a preview like this, that you will be able to move it or wherever you want, or select that object. So I'm going to click on this mark tool. Let's say I'm going to click on this option and make this area. You'll be able to remove it or copy that certain place or edit that certain place. You can do that too. You can see you'll be able to edit in more lines too. Let's say I'm going to keep it on here, and if you want to edit in your lines, press on Alt and you'll be able to do that, and you can see that it has been made like this. Okay, which is a bit different, but you can use this tool of moving it because the selected area is empty. Why you'll be not able to do that? Because the selected area is empty. So I'm going to press Control X. Okay, or you must need a couple of details or whichever content there is, because this is exact photo, so you cannot do that. So I'm going to press Control Z and keep it like this. Okay, press on over here. Then we have other tools such as polygonal. You'll be able to do that too, and you will see a specific section like this where you'll be able to select your selection panel or selection place. So I'm going to keep it over here. I'm going to place it like this. What you have to do is click on Control Z or whichever one edit you want to use. You can also use this tool to get back. What you have to do is Control Y and all of those, and press on Escape. You'll be able to see that the selected place is this one. And now the last one is going to be magnetic lasso tool, which you'll be able to do that too. You can see it is a lot like magnet. You will be able to select specific places like this by using magnets. It will follow your cursor and make that content. It's a lot like a tool of let's say pencil, but a bit rough. Then we have other tools such as this tool, which is going to be object selection tool, and now you'll be able to do those. I'm gonna press on Control Z for a while, and then I'm gonna go revert it back to, let's say, a fresh start, or the default photo how it was. Now what we're going to do is going to be a bit different. So we are going to do is use this tool, selection tool. So when you select on it, it will detect the part which you want to use already. Okay, so what you have to do is just select on this option, and first thing you will see is that it will detect the specific content in the photo. So what we're going to do is going to be clicking on this option, and it will select the part on its own, or you will be able to select it by yourself too. So I'm going to select it by myself, and you will see that it will take a couple of time to select the part of your photo, and then you'll be able to move it however you want by using this position tool or whichever move tool what we say. It will scan or detect your place for a while, and then select the object for you or your content for you, and then you'll be able to copy, cut, paste, and all of those. So what we're going to do next is going to be making another page and select the part which we want to use, and copy it directly to the other page, and then use Photoshop, and also, which is, if you're familiar with Adobe Lightroom or Adobe let's say Illustrator, you'll be able to do that. So I'm going to select this part again, and you will see it will take a couple of time, and you can see it has already been selected. Now as you can see that my part has been selected, I'm going to press on Z, and you can see that I can select whichever part I want to use. I can use the sky, I can use the buildings too. I can use the part of trees too. And that was very easy for Adobe Photoshop to, select. So I'm going to click on this option. Let's say Control C. I'm going to click on Control C and that part will be selected. And I'm going to do is click on this file option, press on new, and it will take a while to, add up another panel. Let's say A4, create, and it will take me directly over there. First off, I'm going to do is paste, Control V, and I will be able to paste that content over here, just as you can see. So this is how you'll be able to use this, selection tool and copy tool in Adobe Photoshop by using the object selection tool. But what you can also do is going to be, let's say I'm going to click on this option, click on this part first. First I'm going to do is not select on this, select on this part. Then I'm going to do is, let's say I'm going to select on this part. And it will take a couple of time, and sometimes it doesn't detect the part, but sometimes it actually does, just as you can see that it has detected the building, just as I did on the previous part. Okay, now I'm gonna take a couple of time and it will select the part which I want to use to, which is the trees in Adobe Photoshop or in this photo. Then what we're gonna do is do the same thing by copying that part directly to the paper where we're going to paste it. Okay, so now you can see the tree part has been selected. So I'm gonna do is Control C, and what I'm going to do is going to be going to that part or that photo layer. So I'm going to do is press on Control V, and it will be pasted here on this page too, and you'll be able to, move them however you want. Let's say I'm going to move this part over here. Okay. You can also select this part and keep it, a bit above. What I'm going to do is click on this part, and, I'm going to select this tool first. Let's say I'm going to now select this. Done. Is press on escape and you are going to be good to go. I'm going to select on this part now. Just keep it over here. I'm going to press. So I'm going to keep it like this. And now the next tool is going to be crop tool. So I'm going to go to this, photo, press on Control Z. I'm going to keep it over here and, unselect it so that I am going to be able to use the crop tool. What I'm going to do is use the crop tool, but you can also select other tools on the selection like quick selection tool and magic wand tool. So it's going to detect your selection part too, but more easily and faster instead of, object selection tool. What object selection tool does is that it, scans each details of the photo and then selects that part for you. But you can use quick selection tool and magic wand tool to get, faster and, sometimes a bit sketchy and sometimes a bit, let's say not that premium finish. Okay, then you can use the crop tool. So you can like crop your photos however you want. So let's say I'm going to keep it like this and keep it like this over from here, and I'm going to drag my photo a bit like this so it stays in the middle. Now as we're done, I'm going to click on this option. You can also use perspective, crop tool, and slice tool. So let's say I'm going to do is select on this option. Let's say I'm going to keep it on over, select this part first and then move it according to your desire. So I'm going to do is click on this option, and you can fix your perspective by clicking on these options. Let's say the perspective should be something like this. If you want it like this, you can fix your perspective however you want, and you'll be able to fix that according to your desire by using your arrow keys too, and also applying effect to it. Okay, that is how simple it exists. Okay, crop. After you're done, just press on crop, and you can see that how it actually looks like. Doesn't look that good, so I'm going to revert it back. Now what you're going to do is right click on a slice tool if you want to slice your photo. Let's say I'm going to click on this option and that photo will be sliced. What we're going to do is going to be clicking on done, hit on enter, or hit on escape, and you are good to go. You will see that this is the slice of the photo first, 3:2, and also 8 photos, which you also got from here. But you can also use the slide selection tool. Just click on this option and remove it, or keep it wherever you want. You can see that the photo has been sliced into a couple of parts, 1, 2, 3. Okay, it was 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we are done with the 5 tools of Adobe Photoshop, which is first to fifth, which is move tool. Then we have a single column mark tool or mark tool, lasso tool. Then we have is this object selection tool, and this crop or slide selection tool, and you know where to find them and how to use them. So what you have to do is fiddle with these tools a bit, and you will get a perfect type of result which you actually want. But it's okay to be a bit like, it shouldn't be totally perfect on the first try. So what you have to do is just use them so that you get a lot more used to it, and then at a time you will know how to do that too, and also get professional type quality of photos or editing which you expect. Okay, so thank you for watching this video and also for staying with us, and in the next lesson I'm going to be showing you 5 of the next tools and also the edit tab of Adobe Photoshop. Welcome back to another lesson of Adobe Photoshop. In this lesson, we are going to learn about the edit tab or the edit ribbon, and also we are going to know about the 5 more tools of Adobe Photoshop and also with examples. Okay, so I'm going to open up Adobe Photoshop, and now I'm going to open up a photo. So let's say I'm going to use the previous photo which I used. I'm going to click on it, and you will see that this photo has appeared up just as I left it. Okay, as I'm not going to need any of those, I'm going to press Ctrl Z or Escape, whichever one I need. Okay, so I'm going to click on File, I'm going to click on New, and then let's say I'm going to open up another one, and then you will be able to add in your photo too if you want to. But if you don't want it, just go back to Home. Let's say I'm going to select this one. I'm going to use this one first. Okay, I'm going to remove that one as I don't have any edits done on this photo. Okay, so in the previous lesson we were done on this crop and then slice tools, okay, which was used by C of keyboard. And now I'm going to use these 5s right now, which is going to be frame tool, eyedropper tool, then spot healing brush tool, then we have is this brush tool, then we have this next one is clone stamp tool, okay, which is going to help you to clone a certain object. Then what we're going to know about is this edit ribbon and the functionality it has to provide in Adobe Photoshop, okay, and how it will actually work. And you will see that there are more of these options and more of these functionalities Adobe Photoshop has. So first off, let's start off by knowing these tools. Okay, first off is going to be the frame tool, which you can use by pressing on K. So let's say I'm going to select this part of this person, and I'm going to remove it, or you can frame it however you want. That is what this frame tool is all about. Okay, now as I'm done with this frame tool, let's say I'm going to click on this whole body, and I'm going to select on this part. Let's say I'm going to select this part, and this part is then selected. Okay, now as this part has been selected, I'm going to keep it right over here, and then you can use other tools too. But if you want to use other tools, you will see that it doesn't contain the corner icon like the other ones, which is like all over them, are on all of the tools except for this one. And also there is another one which doesn't contain that, okay, which is going to be this one. Okay, so you will see that only this tool is available for placeholder frame for images. You can also add in your image just as you want. So I'm going to do is show it to you like this. Let's say I'm going to select on this, and if you want to add in, it's not yet selected perfectly, like it has to be a circular shape or maybe a square shape, and then only you will be able to do that. Let's say if you want to select circle, you'll be able to select it circularly and keep it according to your need. But as I don't need it, I'm gonna do is just click on Ctrl Z as I'm done with it, or you can also press enter to discard it and use another tool. The color you want from your screen or a part of your screen. Let's say you cannot match the shades of 2 different colors, but what you have to do is just use this tool to get that perfect type of color which you want by selecting it from the screen so that you can mask it perfectly. Let's say I'm going to select on this part, and you can see that the color panel is now changing, and it's giving me color to each and every part of the photo, which is like very simple, right? You'll be able to do that. If you want other tools, let's say 3D material eyedropper tool, you'll be able to do that too, but only if you have 3D models and 3D material in your photo. Then we have this color sample tool. You can take color samples and get the code and all of these, just like this one. The R is 201, G is 170, and blue is 137, which construct this specific color which is found on the screen. You can use other tools too, such as ruler tool. You'll be able to rule or get the length and all of those, let's say till here, and you will get that too right over here, and all of those, weight and height, X and YZ, and all of those. If you want different, let's say node tool, you'll be able to note it too, like over here. You can see you can add in your node, let's say G want. Let's say I'm going to click on cancel. I'm going to select on this part, and I can like remove it however I want. Let's say layer, comps, or nodes, whichever one you want. You can type in, like, let's say on here, let's say GHG, and it has been done, or it has been added. Press on escape, and you can see that it will be added. But if you don't want it, what you have to do is just, you know, like revert it back, or just keep it, or just press enter, and then you're good to go. Then we have the next tool, which is going to be spot healing brush tool. Sometimes some commands are a bit different on different, you know, updates of Photoshop, and also different UI, or let's say OS. Okay, let's say it's a bit different on iOS and a bit different on Windows. Okay, so you have to keep that in mind. Let's say I'm going to use this tool to, you know, heal it up. Let's say I'm going to fix this part. Let's say, and let's see how it actually fixes that part. Will it be removed? It's not being removed, so I have to like select it perfectly. Let's say spot healing brush tool. I have to select that part, and then, you know, increase the size of this. Let's say I'm going to click on this part, and I'm going to select this part. If it actually gets removed, as you can see, it did not work. What you have to do is going to be healing brush tool. What I'm going to do is zoom in for a bit. Let's say I'm going to go up. I'm going to select on this part. What you have to do is, you know, select on the spot healing brush tool, and you can like fix any spots, whichever one you want. Let's say I'm going to see a spot over here, and you can see that the spot has been removed, but I can remove these parts too, which are, you know, super grainy, and I want it to be a lot smoother. I can like select on it, double click on it, and sometimes, you know, the tool appears up, or sometimes, you know, the tool, if you want to increase and decrease those, you can also do that. Let's say I'm going to remove this part. You can see that there are no teeth right now. I can remove this part too, and that is how this actually works. And you can see it looks a lot weird, you know, because it doesn't have that type of details which it actually had. So I'm going to press Ctrl Z so that I can revert it back to its normal self. And now you can see it looks just the way it was looking. Okay, I can remove these parts, and you can see it has been removed. I can remove these parts too. Whichever one I want, I can do that. Okay, so you can remove certain parts and also, you know, keep it natural. Then that is how this tool actually works. You can also use the patch tool if you see that, you know, there are certain parts that you did as a mistake. You can also select those parts, and you can like remove it. This is a lot like clone. Let's say I'm going to use this part, and you can take that part as a copy. Or let's say I'm going to take this part as a copy. Let's say I'm going to take this part as a copy, and you can see this is how it actually looks. But I'm not going to keep it like this because that looks a lot, you know, unnatural. So I'm going to select on this small part, but I'm going to select on this part of, you know, over here. And now it looks a lot more better, right? If it does, or if you don't like it, just press on Ctrl Z, and then you're good to go. Then we have this content aware move tool. You will be able to move up your content to a certain place wherever you want to put it, as you can see right over here. What it does is makes a copy of it, and then allows you to put it wherever you want and wherever you want to put it at. So I'm going to press on Ctrl Z as we're done with this tool, and you know how to do it. Okay, now the next tool is going to be a bit different. So let's say I'm going to be the red eye tool. If you already used, you know, photo editing softwares, you already know what it does. If it has a red eye effect and you want to remove it, that is what it's going to help us on. Let's say the photo doesn't have a red eye. So yet I'm going to select this part and see how it actually works. Let's say I'm going to select this part, and if it has a red eye, it's going to fix that for you and give you a natural looking eye without, you know, without saying that the camera flash caused that and all of those. The next tool is going to be, it allows you to, you know, use colors wherever you want. You can also select the brush size and how you want the brush to use. Let's say I'm going to select it to be something like size to be this big, hardness to be this big. Let's say I'm going to be able to use that. You can see the color has been added, and I can only allow it, or, you know, do it on certain parts, such as this one. What I'm going to do is click on this one, and I'm going to select on this one. Do is Control X. I'm going to remove it. I'm going to use the brush now. You can see that I will be able to use the brush however I want. As I don't want that, I'm going to do is zoom out a bit, and I can fix this, you know, the size again, and, you know, do this and that, whichever one I want. That's going to be totally up to me. Okay, now I can also fix the hardness, the, you know, type of brush. Let's say I'm going to use it like this, Or if I want a bit different brush, let's say I'm gonna be able to use a more faded brush like this, or a smaller one. And you can also like remove it as an eraser, which I'm doing right now, which is kind of is like an eraser. Let's say I'm going to use all of this to remove all the content which I added, and now you can see it has come back to its normal self. Do is zoom in. Let's say I'm going to do is fix the size, and then we're good to go. Now the next tool, or the last tool, is going to be the eraser tool. You will be also able to erase up data in your exact photo or whichever content you're doing or whichever work you're doing. Let's say I'm going to remove this hairpin from her. So I'm going to do is select on this part, and then you will see it will be removed, but it works as a brush, so sometimes it's going to cause some hassle. Okay, what you have to do is use another option. I'm going to do is magic erase tool. I'm going to do is remove this part. You can see it has been removed, and it has also given me certain pixelated areas which it wants to remove, and I can add in more data over here because this part has turned into a blank space. Okay, that is like very simple to do. But if you want background eraser tool, what you're going to do is rub it all over your screen or where you want it to remove, and that part will be removed and also erased. Okay, now you know all of the 5, but I've also given you an extra one. Okay, given you extra 2 tools which we used or told you about in this lesson. As you know all about the tools right now, what you're going to do is practice it a bit more and see how it actually works so that you can get your exact result. And now we are going to learn about this edit tab, where it has all the functionality Adobe Photoshop has to offer. So first I'm going to click on this edit, and you can see that there are a couple of these options. Let's say copy, copy merged, paste, paste special. You will be able to do that by using, which I showed in the previous lesson. And then paste special, which is a bit different. Paste in place. If you select a certain place and take it to a screen and then paste it, it will be in place. Okay, then we have a search, check spelling, find and replace text however you want. Then we have is fill, which we also use over here, but if you want to fill it or fill the background or fill a specific place with a certain color, you can also do that. Let's say press OK, and you can see that the photo has turned into a fill. Okay, but I'm not going to need it, so I'm going to press on like undo and remove it. Then we have is other tools such as stroke. You will be able to add in strokes to if you want to. That is kind of like outlines and all of those, okay, which you'll be able to put. Then we have is content aware scale. You'll be able to use that and also get the scale of your certain photo, which you'll be able to get from here, X and Y, and also the width and height and all of those, and amount, protection, and all of those. And then if you don't want that, just press on Ctrl Z or select on a certain place. If you are done with it, or press on this click on tool. Then we have is other tools such as puppet warp. You can also warp up your certain photo by selecting on this. It allows you to get a certain type of details on your photo, and you will be able to get that too by using that, and also get specific type of, like, let's say positions of your photo, which by doing that you can also find other tools such as perspective warp. Selecting on this, and you will see an interface like this will appear up. Then you can like select on this option and fix up your grids and fix up your alignments according to your need, and you will also get that it looks a bit different when I do this. Okay, let's say I'm gonna do is fix this, and after you're done, just press on this OK, and you can see the photo is now a bit different. Like, I didn't do it that much, that is why it's causing me to like see it like that, but if I did it a lot more, you would have seen a big difference. Okay, then we have its free transform. You will be able to transform your photo into something else. Okay, that is like totally up to you how you're gonna do it, but you will be able to change like change your size or change the photo size, and also position it wherever you want on your screen, and that is how it actually works. But your photo will only be applied on a certain page or a certain workspace, just like this one. Okay, it cannot be put or cannot be visible outside of that layer. Then we have is other tools such as auto align layer, sky replacement. You can also replace the sky or the sky replacement by doing this. It will detect it for a while, and then you will be able to fix the sky just like this. if your photo only has a sky, okay, then you can like fix it however you want and also give it a better type of look to it. So that is what the sky tool does. But we can also find such other, functionality it has to offer. Okay, our Photoshop has to offer. You can also define the pattern. You can also use the purge, such as clipboard, histories, and all, video cache, and all of those. You can also use Adobe PDF presets, which you will be able to use, but also use presets. Let's say go to Preset Manager, and you'll be able to select whichever preset you want to use from over here. Let's say I want stamp edges, and click on Done, and that will be directly applied. You might not be able to see that, but it actually is applied to your photo. And also, you will be able to do all of those stuffs right now. Then we have this other ones such as remote connection, color setting. If you want to fix your colors, you can do that from over here. You can also assign your profile by selecting on this. Let's say you want to select the profile. Let's say profile is something like 1988. You can use Apple RGB, color match RGB, and all of those. Let's say I'm going to keep it on ProPhoto RGB. You can see the preset has been added. You can also use something like this. Now you can see it looks a bit dull, but not that bad. All right, now we can use, let's say, image p3, whichever one you want. Select on the one which you want, sRGB, ProPhoto, image p3, whichever one you want, and after you're done, just press on OK. You can also use working sRGB, don't work, manage this document, and after you're done, just press OK, and then you're good to go. Click on edit again. Now let's say I want convert to profile. You can also use profiles such as other presets too. You can use keyboard shortcuts, menus, and then toolbar, and then the preferences. There are a couple of these preferences which you can use, such as workspace. Let's say I'm going to fix on my workspace, and you can see all of these tools will appear over here. You can fix up your workspace and also your interface by going through these options of your preference, and after you're done, just press on OK. Well, you don't have to like follow all of these steps. I'm just showing you the interface of how it actually works, and if you need it, tool where you are going to find it. Okay, so if you feel like it's a bit more advanced for you, also I'm giving you another course about the advanced lessons of Adobe Photoshop, so stay tuned so that you get all of the tools and all the usage of Adobe Photoshop in all categories, and also advanced and also basics. So as this course is all about the flexibility and being more, user friendly or beginner friendly, so I'm going to keep it a lot more supple and a lot more beginner friendly. Okay, so we are done on this section of edit. As you can see, all of them has been done. So we are done with this lesson too. So hope you understood everything about this lesson on the edit tab or the edit ribbon of Photoshop, and also the extra tools, except for the first one we showed in the first lesson. Okay, hope you understood everything again, and also thank you for staying with us and watching this video. Welcome back to another lesson of Adobe Photoshop. In this lesson, we are going to learn about the image and layer tab in Adobe Photoshop, and also the additional tools of Adobe Photoshop and what it has to offer. Okay, so let's start off with the image and also the layer tab. First off, I'm going to click on image, and you can see that there are a couple of these options which you can select from and use on. First is going to be mode. Okay, you can select the mode of your color and the color preference you're using. Most of the time I select on CMYK, but as you've seen on the previous of this lesson, or the previous lesson, I've used RGB color because that is more easy and beginner friendly instead of using CMYK colors. But I'm going to suggest you to use CMYK colors because that has more variant and also a lot more, let's say, flexible. Okay, but you can use whichever one you want. That's like totally up to you. And then we have other options too, such as 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit. Well, that is going to be the density of the color and what type of colors you want. If you want more shades, then obviously use more bits, and if you want less shades, you can use less bits. Then we have is adjustments. You can also fix the lighting problem, and also posterization threshold, gradient map, selected color, and all of those, like fixing your lighting and the color by going through these options of adjustments. Let's say I'm going to fix the brightness and contrast. Click on this option. You can see that an interface like this will appear up. Then you can use these sliders to fix up your brightness and also your contrast by selecting or typing in the data which you want to use. If you want to use legacy, just click on this option. It's going to be reverted back to itself. Let's say I'm going to keep it on 39, keep it on 15, and after you're done, just press on OK. But if you want auto result, just click on OK or auto. It will be directly applied to your photo. I'm going to press on OK as we're done, but if you don't want to, just press on Ctrl Z, and then you're good to go. Then we have is other tools such as, levels. If you want to fix levels in your photo, just as we did on Lightroom, and fix up the curves, you can also do that. Select on this part, or select, let's say I'm going to select on over here, and you'll be able to fix those, parts of, let's say lightings and all of those just through here. You can also fix whichever specific color you want to change. Let's say if you want to like change the whole RGB all at once, just press on Alt 2 or select on this part. But if you want to select the specific colors in your photo, let's say I want red to change, then you can select on this and you will see that this is how it actually looks like. If you want, let's say green, let's say I'm going to do is decrease the green, or increase the green. Let's say I'm going to keep it something like this, and now you can see that the color looks a lot more, let's say, warm and also a bit reddish. Okay, let's say I'm going to fix the blue now. Let's say I'm going to do is increase or decrease the blue and keep it however I want, and you can see that it has turned into a bit more normal. Now after you're done, just press on OK. But you can also use let's say the eyedropper tools to get exact colors which you want to use or change. You can also use the output levels of specific colors, such as this is the blue part of the photo, and if you want to change the density of that photo, just select on this tool and you will be able to do that just from over here. After you're done, just press on OK. You will be able to select specific presets too. Let's say I'm going to do is light and shadow, but I don't want that. I'm just press on custom and fix it however I want, or keep it however I want. But if I don't want it, just press on auto, and you are good to go. Just press on OK, and you will get an exact result and however you want it to be like. Okay, now the next tools are going to be a bit different. I'm going to go to image, go to adjustment, then it's going to be the curves. You will be able to fix out your these tools. Let's say you want to fix this part. Okay, let's say I'm going to select on this part, and you can see that it is changing its like the lightings and all of those. Let's say I'm going to select on this part again. I'm going to select on this, or keep it like this. I'd say I'm going to select on this part. If you want to change it, you'll be able to fix it and fiddle through it and get an exact result of how it actually looks like when you change it. Okay, so you have to like go through each and every one so that you get an exact result and however you want it to keep it. Okay, so now you can see that the details are a lot more. So I'm going to do is click on this option and keep it to be a lot more smoother. And you can also use presets from over here. Let's say I'm going to do is medium contrast, or let's say lightings, lighter RGB, or let's say linear contrast, which is a lot more better. But if you want pigment ink, you can also fix that. But if you want light ones, you can just press on light. You can also fix the grids. Okay, so you will be able to fix certain places a lot more easier. Okay, you can also use this show channel overlays, histogram, baseline, intersection line, and all of those. After you're done, just press on OK. But first off is you have to fix out the channel first, which color you want to use. And after you're done, just press on OK, and then you're good to go. Then let's go to the other, let's say exposure. If you want to fix your exposure, you can see it is a lot like Adobe Lightroom, but it's a lot more specific and a lot more complex than Lightroom, because it has a lot more tools and it is just for specific photo editing and all of those. Okay, and also get an exceptional result. So what you can do is fix up your exposure, offset, and also gamma correction from over here. And if you're done, just press on cancel if you don't want it to be applied. But if you want to, just press on OK, and then you will be good to go. Go to image again, and then let's say I'm going to use other tools such as vibrance, hue, saturation, and all of those. So I'm going to go through each and every one of them. Fix the vibrance by clicking on vibrance. You can select specific colors too. You can see the photo is now changing. After you're done, just press on which one you want to use or which one you want to change. You can also do that from over here, just as we did in Adobe Lightroom. After you're done, just press on OK, and you can also get previews, but if you don't like it, just press on cancel, and that everything will be discarded. So I don't want any of those, so I'm going to press on Control Z. I'm going to go to image again, go to another one, hue saturation. If you want to do that, you'll be able to get that. Just move it, or do it however you want. Let's say I'm going to go through the other ones. Let's say color balance. You will be able to do that, which is also known as CB sometimes. You can fix out those certain details and get an exact result and how it actually looks like. Okay, so in the next one is going to be a bit different. So as this lesson is going to be a bit bigger, so let's say I'm gonna go through each and every one of those tools and show you how it actually works like. So stay with us. Okay, now the next tool is going to be color balance, okay, which we did right now. This is going to be black and white. If you want to fix out your blacks and whites in the photo, just click on black and white, and you will see there is going to be certain colors which you can change. Let's say I'm going to use yellows. Okay, let's say, so even though you are seeing it as, a black and white photo, but it's going to detect which part it had been, certain colors in, black and white or in color, and then fix it out according to that. So when you turn it to be, black and white, okay, or change the color, you will see a certain result in those specific colors. Let's say you want to change the reds, you can see only the red parts which were in the actual photo, or color photo, that will be applied. Okay, now let's go to the other tool which we already did. Right now is going to be photo filter. If you want to add photo filter, you can also do that, just clicking on filter, whichever filter you want. Let's say orange, press on OK, and you will see the photo will turn into a bit more oranger, because that is the filter of the photo. Okay, now as the photo filter has been added, let's go to the other tool of, let's say, like channel mixer. If you want to fix, the mixer channel, you can also do that. Let's say source channel, which one you want to use. The red parts are now changing, the green parts will not change. Let's say I'm going to keep it over here. I'm going to do is cancel first, go to image again, go to adjustment, like let's say channel mixer, let's go to green now. Now as you see that is how it changed. You can also fix the blue and all of those when you get them one by one, selecting, or like editing each and every channels one by one, you will get a specific type of result, and also the photo will look a lot more better. And sometimes if you do some mistakes, you just have to do is revert it back by pressing on Ctrl+Z, or just you can preview it and then get a cancel, or click on the cancel and later on fix it back again. So as I don't want it, I'm going to press on cancel and it will revert back to its default self. I'm going to click on adjustment again, and now we have is color lookup. You can look up the color or the type of color you want to use. Let's say I'm going to select on this part or this part, whichever one you want to use. You can also use abstract, and all of those you can like get it from your specific panel which you downloaded on your PC, and then use those specific colors. And if you're done, just invert your photo like this into negative color. You can also keep it like this, but if you don't want it, just press on Ctrl+Z and then it will be removed. Then we have is posterize. If you want it to be posterized, you can see it is how it actually looks like. You can keep it to be, let's say, 215, but if you don't want that, just press on Ctrl+Z or like cancel it according to your need, and you are going to get a specific type of result. Then we have is threshold. If you want to put in threshold like this photo, which you can see over here, you can also fix up these options like this, and also keep it to be black and white however you want. Then you will get an exact result too. Okay, now let's go to the other one, which is going to be gradient map and selective color. Gradient map is going to keep it to be something like this. You can use the grayscales, or sepia, which is also known as that. You can also use blues, let's say other colors, whichever color you want to use, you can do that from over here, clicking on this option, and you can see a couple of these options have appeared up. Let's say here's and I'm going to select on this one, and you can see it looks a lot more different. But what I'm going to do is going to be selecting on pinks and keep it something around over here. Let's say the smoothness should be something around over here. Press on OK, and then you will get an exact result. But if you don't want that, just press on Ctrl+Z, and then all will be removed, and you will get your photo. Then we have a selective color. You can also do that by selecting on this option and fixing it according to your need. And after you're done, just press on OK. So I'm not giving you like complex lessons or anything. I'm just giving you all the usage of the tools and how you'll be able to use them. Okay, now let's go to auto tone and all of those. But first of all, the last ones I'm going to show you is shadow highlight, HDR toning, desaturate, match color, replace color, equalize. So let's start off with the shadow highlight. You can fix up your shadows and highlights from these options using these sliders. Then the next tool is going to be something else, such as HDR toning. You'll be able to fix up your HDR. Like let's say you might get something like this, could not convert the image to 16-bit channel because the scratch discs are full. Okay, what happens is that when you fix up those options, or you don't have spaces in your PC, or disk is full, and that is why you can be you won't be able to use that. But if you use a 32-bit at first, you will be able to do that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is going to be using that option. Go to adjustment, I'm going to desaturate, and all of those. You can see that desaturate, it is to have, or the photo has been desaturated and thus has no color in it. That is what desaturation does. Then you can use match colors however you want by matching luminance, color intensity, and also fade. Then the other tool is let's say replace color. You can also replace certain colors from a certain photo. Let's say I'm going to select on this part, and then you'll be able to get a specific type of result. It's going to take a bit of time, and you will see that is how it actually looks like. Now I'm going to go to adjustment again. The last one is going to be equalize. You can equalize your photo by doing whatever you want. It's an auto tool, which is detects your photo and then equalizes your color in your certain photograph so that it looks a lot more better and also usable. Now let's go to the other tools such as tone, auto tone. You can also use auto tone and get the auto tone of the photo, and you can use auto contrast and auto color just as we did. Is like manual, and you can also do it like auto from over here. You can also select the image size, canvas size, image rotation, and all of those. You can crop, trim, reveal all. You can duplicate the photo, apply images or calculations, variables, and apply data sets, traps, analysis, like all of them. Okay, you also have the ruler tool and all of those over here, count tool, place scale marker, and all of those. You can go through each and every of those tools and see how it actually works so that you can get an exact result. So as we're done with this image tab, let's go to the layer tab, which has a lot more tool, but it is like we use it really a lot less comparatively to the other ones. You can use new to add in new layers, which we showed you in the first lesson of Adobe Photoshop. Then you can use duplicate layers, quick export as PNG, export as if you want to convert it as a photo. I'm going to show it to you later on in this course, but you'll be able to find it through over here. You can also use new fill layer, adjustment, layer mask, vector mask, and all of those, video layers, and also smart out objects, and all of those. You can go through, go down and see all these tools, okay, which you want to use, and then you will be good to go. Now let's go to the extra 5 tools or the extra tools Adobe Photoshop has to offer. So we showed you up till the eraser tool in the previous lesson. Now it's going to be the other tools such as gradient tool. Then we have is this blur tool. Then we have is DOS tool, then pen tool, and then also the horizontal type tool. Okay. Then we have is this tool to be a bit different, which is path selection tool. So we are going to be showing you these 6 options or six of these tools and how those actually work. So let's start off with the gradient tool. If you want to add in gradient to your photo, select on this option. Let's say I'm going to click on this option, press on OK. Now first off, let's go to home, select on this option. I'm going to select on this option and then do all the editing on that specific photo because I have edited a lot on this photo, so it's going to take a while, and then actually apply it on your screen where you'll be able to work on it. Now as we opened up our photo, now I'm going to select on this part, and you can see that the gradient has now changed, but what I'm going to do is going to be a bit different, as the photo only has certain cells or certain photos or certain details. So I'm going to do is use this photo, click on this option, and you can see it has also turned into white. So I'm going to do is select on blues and select on other parts such as these ones. Okay, even though sometimes it may not appear up because of certain photos or the quality of the photo. So I'm selecting on this option, and let's say I'm going to use the girl photo again. So here I'm going to do is select on this option. Let's say I'm going to click on this option, and if it appears the same way, that is how the gradient actually works. What it does is fixes the fill. But if you want to use certain let's say paint bucket tool and all of those, I'm going to press on Ctrl Z, select on this option, paint bucket tool, and you'll be able to apply that, and you can see that the color is now changing on certain parts. Okay, so I'm going to do is Ctrl Z, and all of those, and you can see a certain result has been given. You can also use 3D material drop tool if you have 3D materials in your certain photo to use. Then we have is this blur tool. If you want to use blur on your photo, what you have to do is, let's say I'm going to select on this part, do is click on this part, and let's say blur tool, fix on blur. Let's say I'm going to click it on these options, and now I'm going to do is click on this option, hardness to be like this, zoom in. You can use this option as let's say sharpen or smudge tool. Let's say smudge tool, and you can see that it smudges away the layers. Let's say I'm going to click on the size and click it on like this, and you can see that is how the smudge tool actually works. You will be able to make a warp and design out of it, just however you wish. Then there is another tool which is going to be sharpen tool. If you want to add sharpen up your photo or sharpen up certain parts, you can also do that. Let's say I'm going to sharpen up this part and also sharpen up this part. I'm going to do is go down over here, sharpen up the fingers, which you can see from over here. You can see that the photo is becoming a lot more grainy because the photo is getting more sharper just as I drag this mouse by clicking on my left mouse key. Okay, now that is how the sharp tool actually works in a certain photo, okay, or how this tool actually works. If you're done with it, now what we're gonna do is going to be showing you the other tool, which is going to be this one, the dodge tool, or whichever tool we call. Let's say I'm going to use dodge a certain part. Let's say I'm going to click on this option, zoom in. Let's say I'm going to select on this part, and you can see the part is now becoming a lot more lighter and a lot more brighter than it actually is. See? Now you can see the difference. I'm going to go up a bit, and you can see the difference of this being a lot more clear than how it actually was, right? So that is how the dodge tool actually works in Adobe Photoshop. You can also use the burn tool to burn certain parts to make it a bit more darker, okay, just as you can see like this, which we did, and this is like vice versa, so that you can get a burnt effect. If you keep it on a certain part for a long time, you will see the part will become a lot more darker than it actually is. You can see it is a lot more darker. You can see it has given me the burnt effect, okay. So that is how the burn effect or the burn tool actually works in Adobe Photoshop. You can also use the sponge tool to fix up certain parts. Okay, let's say I'm going to click on these options and hold on to your left mouse key, and you will be able to fix certain parts like this. You can see it is being a bit faded. Okay, you can see the color is being faded just like this. This is how the sponge tool actually works. You can also see sometimes it is extending a bit too, but you can see the color is being removed, and that is how it actually works and all three of these tools. Okay, so I'm going to do is undo a lot more so that I can get my photo how it actually was, okay, like this. Now the next tool is going to be this pen tool. You'll be able to fix out certain places like this, and you'll be able to remove it too, just however you want it. Okay, you will be able to let's say make certain lines and all of those by using this tool. You can also use freeform pen tool, something like this, and you'll be able to highlight a certain part and all of those by using this tool. And after you're done, just click on OK or hit on that tick mark, and you are good to go. If you want a curvature pen tool, you'll be able to do that too. Let's say I'm going to keep it over here and select certain parts, and you will get a certain line just however you want it. Then fiddle with it for a while, and then you will get a hold of it. Then we have is the text tool. If you want to add in certain text to your photo, just make a text box, select the size of the font, let's say 500 or 600, and now I'm gonna do is select on the font, whichever one you want. Let's say I'm gonna click on all over here, let's say, and now what you're gonna do is going to be selecting that photo or selecting that part. Let's say I'm gonna click it on 500. I'm going to select this part. Now select on. What I'm going to do is keep it over here. I'm going to select the color to be a bit different. Select on this tool. Take it over here, and you can see how it actually looks like on the photo. As you know that the photo will the text will not be applied on certain, let's say on or outside of the panel of Adobe Photoshop. Okay, so what you have to do is take it inside of your photo so that you'll be able to see the text and the text box which you are going to use. Okay, let's say this is a photo. Okay, now you know how to use text boxes too. You're going to get other options too, such as vertical type tool, vertical type mask tool, horizontal type mask tool, and all of those. If you want to use those, you are good to go. Okay, so I'm going to do is Control Z and keep it something like this. Okay, so that I'm good to go too. If you want to change the font and how it looks like, you can also use it from over here. Select whichever type of text you want to use, and then you will get a specific type of result however you want. You can also use horizontal tool as you want, but if you're done with it, just press on this tick option or this don't want to use anymore that option. Then we have is this other tool of this, which is called the path selection tool. You can select the path. Let's say I'm going to select this path. And as this doesn't have a certain shape, what it does is actually, select, let's say, the path tool, and you will be able to, merge it to according to your need. But as I don't have certain, shapes in my photo, I will not be able to do that. So now you know how you'll be able to use those tools in Adobe Photoshop, and also about the image tab in Adobe Photoshop. So thank you for watching this video about this image tab, as I was also supposed to show you the layer tab, but as this photo, or as this tools, or the usage of these tools in this video has become quite long, so I'm not going to keep it this long, and I'm going to show it to you, or show the layer tab or the layer ribbon in the next lesson. So hope you understood everything about this lesson, about the tools, and also about the ribbon, which is image ribbon. And thank you for watching this video again, and also for staying with us. Welcome back to another lesson of Adobe Photoshop. In this lesson, we are going to learn about the layer tab and what functionality it has to offer in Adobe Photoshop, and also editing a photo. And then we are going to learn about all of the extra tools in Adobe Photoshop on the left side of the screen. Okay, as we are done with all of the tools which it has to offer. Okay, we only have a couple more of them to finish all of the tools and usage of the tools and how those actually work. So let's start off with the layer tab, which we already showed you in the previous lesson, but next one, what we're going to show you is going to be the type. Okay, type and select. Okay, first off, it's going to be the panels. Okay, which type of panel do you want to use on your work, or what type of project or photo editing are you doing, so that you get a specific type of result. Okay, if you want to do that, what you're going to do is be clicking on this panels. Let's say I'm going to use character panel. Okay, select that option, and then what you're going to do is select the where you have the person or the character, and then you will get a character panel, or which is also going to be like the character of the text and how those actually is, and that is how the character panel actually works. Okay, now you can see you'll be able to fix out the font, then the type of font or the type of text it is, the size, then the spacing, then the metrics, then the VA, like the spacing in between alphabets and also words. Then it's going to be the text size, or the percentage, or the vertical stroke. Then it's going to be the width of the vertical stroke. Then it's going to be the uppercase, lowercase, whichever one you want to use. And also these options, which you can use one by one in Adobe Photoshop. Okay, then we also have the paragraph settings, such as aligning it to whichever size you want to use, and also keeping the indent wherever you want. Okay, so let's start off by using these tools. Okay, what I'm going to do is select on this text option, which we are going to use right now, so that we get a specific type of result. So I'm going to click on this option, and from here what we're going to do is going to be selecting it on 72. So as it is 72, what I'm going to do is change the font into, let's say I want it to be something like this. Now I want it to be regular. Okay, keep it to be regular. I want it to be like this. Now I want the VA to be 25. And now the metric to be, let's say, optical. And I want it to be 72. And I can keep it on 10, right? Hit on enter. And now I have the specific type of result which I want to use. I can also keep it like this. Now what I'm going to do is going to be changing the color. So let's say I'm going to change the color to black. Okay, what I'm going to do is select the color to be black from over here, press on OK. Now the color is all black, but as not all of them are selected, so I'm going to click on this option again. I'm going to click on this black option, keep it on black, press on OK, and now you can see all of them have now turned into black color. So I'm going to do is remove it and type in my own text. Okay, so if I want to do that, I'm going to do is just cut it, just like I do most of the times, or like you do most of the times on Adobe, or let's say Microsoft Word or PowerPoint or Excel. Let's say this is GG. Okay, GIGI. Well, sometimes it's not that visible or understandable because of the font, so I'm going to keep it like this, and you can also select the certain parts. Okay, so we are done with this option. Now we can fix out whichever, obviously where we want to align it. You can keep it on center, left, right, and then also keep it like this, justified, however you want it, and all of those. Now this is justified, and you can also fix the indent. Let's say I want it to be on 2, and you can see that it's 2 now. Now I'm going to do is keep this to be 5. It is 5 now. And now I'm going to do is keep that to be 10. This is 10. Okay. So that is how it actually works on Adobe Photoshop about the character and paragraph option. Now let's go to type again, and on the panels we have glyph panel, which is also from over here. You can also use or add in symbols, whichever one you use. And after you're done, just press on enter or escape and you will be good to go. Double click on it. You'll be able to add in glimpse like this. Let's say I'm going to do is keep something like this. Now all of the glimpses have been added, so I'm going to click on this option. What I'm going to do is go to this text, and now you'll be able to use that. Okay, I'm going to go to type again, and then we have other ones. Let's say I have character style panels, some paragraph style panels, which is also quite the same, but you will be able to add in those styles however you want, and you can also save it so that you will be able to use that for later purpose. Now you know all the purposes of these tools and how those actually work, right? So what I'm going to do is going to be going on type again and then select on anti-alias. So you can use the type of whichever type of format you want to use. If you want your photo to look a lot more sharper, crisper, strong, and smooth, just click on this option. Let's say I'm going to want it to be crispy. So I'm going to do is select on this option and press on delete. I'm going to remove it because I don't want it right now. So I'm going to go to type again. Select on this alias or where we want it to be. Let's say I'm going to select on this option and make a text box first. So I'm going to do is add in a text box, and then I'm going to do is click on this option of type, click on anti-alias, and let's say I'm going to keep it on strong. Now you will see all the photos are now stronger in color, okay, or the font has been stronger in color, and that is how it actually works. Okay, you'll be able to add in or delete it according to your desire too. That's like very simple to do in Adobe Photoshop. Let's go to type again and select on, let's say, Windows LCD, and the Windows LCD will be applied. You can double click on it to add in a new text box just like you want. Let's say I'm going to click on text or like this, however you want, and you will be good to go. So you can also delete it however you want, and also select this tool first and then delete it. So all of them is deleted all at once. Okay, now I'm going to go to type again. Let's say we have orientation and all of those, so I have to do is make another text box right over here. Let's say I'm going to keep it up till here. And I can use or select the orientation. Let's say if I want vertical, I can also keep it vertical, or portrait, whichever one I want. That's like totally up to me and also up to you. You can also use open type, extrude to 3D, but only if you have 3D characters and 3D details on your photo. You can also create work path and all of those. Okay, but now as it is not available because this photo is not 3D modeled and all of those, you can also convert it to shape, but this has a lot of details. Sometimes it might also give you an error, but if you have like specific shape type of photos which you have in your photo, then it will convert it to like very simply. As you can see, when I did it with this, as it is a photo, you can see that the type layer uses a foxbowl style, obviously because it has a lot of details. So if you have like a lot more subtle photos, you'll be able to turn that photo into a shape, and that is like very simple to do in Adobe Photoshop. Okay, now let's go to other ones. Let's say you can also rasterize type layers, convert to point text, warp text, match font, and all of those. So I'm going to do is click on this option, go to type, go to like this option, font text. I'm going to is select on this and select whichever style you want to use. Let's say I'm going to use fish, press on OK, and now you can see that this part has turned into something like this. Okay, this is how it actually works. You'll be able to do a lot more with these options by going through type and warp text. You can also match the font, whichever one you want. Okay, let's say this is Roman or Japanese, whichever one you want. Match font, select on the fonts, whichever one you want to use. Let's say this font, and that font will be so like directly specified and also give you which type of font is being used. Okay, I'm gonna go to type again, and you'll be able to see font preview size, whichever one you're using. You'll be able to select whichever one you want, and then you're good to go to on this section. Then we have this language option. You will be able to fix out all of the language on these options. Then we have update all text layers, manage missing fonts, load default type style, and save default type style. If you have some default styles or a couple of styles in your PC which you can use to like apply directly when you open up or when you select that option, then you can like select on these options so that it will revert back to the default self, or also apply it when you don't have it. Okay, So that is all about the type layer or the type ribbon or tab, which is like available in Adobe Photoshop and the functionality it provides. Okay, now let's go to the additional tools which Adobe Photoshop has. So the first tool is going to be this rectangle option. If you want to make a rectangle, or let's say a board or a panel which you want to use, you can also do that, and you will see a panel like this will appear up. I use it most of the time as a layer because you can like directly apply your contents directly on that section of your photo, right? So that you'll be able to add in more contents. So I'm going to remove it. I'm going to remove it too. I'm going to keep it over here. What I'm going to do is click on this option. I'm going to keep it to be over here so that it looks a bit more better. Okay, I'm going to double click on it. And after I'm done, I'm just going to click on this option of, let's say I don't need it anymore. So I'm going to click on this option and keep it like this. Now what we're going to do is going to be using the other tools of rectangle. We have ellipse tool, triangle tool, polygon tool, line tool, custom shape tool. You can use custom shapes. Okay, keep it like this. As you can see that I have a tiger or whatever animal I'm using right now. As you can see, it looks like this. As I don't want it, so I'm going to keep it like this, and we are good to go. If you want different ones, let's say I'm going to use line tool, you'll be able to make a line like this. And you will see you will be able to change the line by selecting on the outside of or the points of that tool, and it will also show you the lines like similar or like directly straight from that option. You'll be able to curve that too however you want, like this. Okay, and that is how this line tool actually works in Adobe Photoshop. There are also other tools which you can try using and get a specific type of result. Okay, then we have is this tool which is called the hand tool. You can remove it however you want, like this. Okay, that's like very simple. We have rotate view tool. You can also rotate it on like this and keep it however you want. I'm gonna click on hand tool again, and I'm gonna keep it like this if you want it to be previewed or the viewers, okay, so that they will be able to see it like this. So that is the usage of these tools. Then we have is the zoom tool. You'll be able to zoom in by clicking on these options, and if you want to zoom out, what you're going to do is going to be zoom out. Okay, click on this option, zoom out, or you can also use the shortcut key of pressing on Alt and then scrolling down. Okay, that is how the zoom tool actually works. Then we have is this edit toolbar. You'll be able to edit your toolbar just as you need. Okay, you will be able to customize your toolbar. And let's say if you don't have specific ones, you can like remove it, or also like add in according to your desire and where you want it to appear. Then we have is this color panel option. You'll be able to select the color whichever one you want according to your desire, which is the older and also the newer variant of the color which you are going to use. Then you can also use the previous one, which is going to be black and white. That is obviously on default, so you don't have to worry about it. You can like move through each and every one of them, whichever one you want, so that you have 4 colors already ready, like already prepared to use in Adobe Photoshop and whenever you need it. Then we have is this tool which is going to be edit in quick mask mode. You'll be able to mask in however you want by going through these properties and all, but after you're done, just click on this option and then you're good to go. Then we have is this other one which is going to be full screen and all of those. If you're full screen, just press on escape and that will take you directly out of it. So this just helps you to like full screen mode with menu bar and all of those, and also full screen mode like directly, so that you get a larger view and also specific type of results. And also if you want your viewers to see it, you can also do that sometimes too. Okay, but most of the people export it, save it, and then show it, but yet like no one knows when you actually need it. So now you know all of the tools Adobe Photoshop has to offer, but we have like a lot of functionality which Adobe Photoshop has. So I'm going to show it to you like in the next lesson. So hope you understood everything about this lesson on the type tab or the type ribbon and all the tools of Adobe Photoshop has to offer, and also the usage of them. Welcome back to another lesson of Adobe Photoshop. In the previous lesson, we learned about the Type tab in Adobe Photoshop and the functionality it has to provide. In this lesson, we are going to learn about this Select tab and also the Filter tab in Adobe Photoshop, as we are done with all of the additional tools in Adobe Photoshop has to offer. So what we're going to do first is open up a new photo which is not from these ones. So I'm going to click on New File, I'm going to click on these options. Okay, you can also import it. Or first off, let's just select a file or select the page size. So I'm going to do is select on, let's say I want it to be something like art and illustration. Let's say I'm going to keep it to be 1000 pixel grid, but I can also use print sections. Let's say I'm going to use A4, click on create. It will open up a page for me. Now I'm going to do is import a photo. So I'm going to click on file first. And then what I'm going to do is import a photo from my PC or wherever I want. Okay, you can also do it from here, but if you want to like directly apply your photo on Adobe Photoshop, what you have to do is just click on this option, click on open, and you can see that an interface like this will open up. So from here, what I'm going to do is use this file first. Okay, now you can see that this man or this photo has appeared over here. So as this lesson is about the select tab and all of the tools about this, and also the filter tab which we are going to use. So let's just get on with this lesson without any further ado, and also a couple examples and also a couple of briefs to know about. So first off, we are going to start off with the select tab. From the select tab, we have is all, deselect, reselect, and inverse. So let's say there are a couple of items. Okay, let's say we have two, panels right now, but if there are a couple of items, okay, such as shapes and all of those, you'll be able to select all of them together by clicking on Control A. So what I'm going to do is press on Control A, and you can see that the whole photo has been selected. Okay, I can do the same thing over here, but it doesn't contain any data. So it's going to like select a certain page and whatever content there is to select. Okay. And then what we're going to do is deselect. What you have to do is just press Ctrl D, and you can see that it has been deselected. So that is how you'll be able to, actually remove it or remove the line node. Okay. Then I'm going to do is select again, and then reselect, which is Shift Ctrl D. Let's try hitting on Shift Ctrl D. You can see that this has reselected it. Shift Ctrl A or Shift Ctrl D, or just press on Ctrl D, and you will see an interface like this will appear up, which is the camera raw. Okay, so let's just get started, and you can see a couple of these information and a couple of these ways of editing your data has appeared over here, but we're going to go through that later on. Okay, so I'm going to just remove it for a while. Do is increase the size if you want to do that, but if you don't want that, just press on cancel, and then you're good to go back on the screen. But I'm going to show it to you later on in this lesson or later on in this course. Press on Control A or Control D to deselect it. Okay, now let's go to select again, and we already know about this reselect, then inverse, which is Shift Control I, Shift Control I. So then it will be inversed. Okay, which is like you selected a part, but the unselected parts will be then selected, and the selected parts will be unselected. Okay, that is how it actually works on inverse selection. Then I'm going to go to select. Then we have is all layers, like deselect layers, find layers, isolate layers. So first off, if you want to do that, click on layers. Let's say I'm going to add in a couple of layers. Layer 1, layer 2. Okay, now what I'm going to do is go to select. I'm going to do is all layers all together. Now all layers are being visible. Okay, if you had some edits on them, you'll be very easily be able to see the layers in the specific photo. Now I'm going to do is go to select again, and you can also deselect the layers. So I'm going to do is all layers, and next one is going to be deselect the layers. Now all the layers has been deselected, as you can see from over here. You can double click on it, you can name your layer, and you can see that layer 2 has been selected right now, and this is the background photo. Now let's go to select again, and you can find layers 2. Alt Shift Control and F. You'll be able to find your layers from over here. Let's say layer 2. You can see layer 2 has appeared up. So what you have to do is just click on this option, double click on it, and you will be able to rename your layer so that you'll be able to find it. FGH, hit on enter. Let's say now I'm going to do is type in FGH. You can see your layer has been found. And that is how the layer section actually works. I'm going to go to select again, and you can also isolate the layers so that it is your specific layer will be isolated, and you won't be able to do any formats on that specific layer. Now I'm going to do is go to select again. I'm going to click on all layers. Okay, I'm going to click it on, or let's keep it on the first layer or the background only. So I'm going to another thing what you have to do is, if you want to delete them, select the layer first and then press on this delete. Yes, and you can see that the photo, or the background, or certain layers will be deleted. You can also delete the certain background by clicking on this option, like this cross one. Okay, and I'm gonna do is go to select again, and you can also select the color range by using this tool from selection tool. Click on color range, and then you will see an interface like this will appear up, and you will see that whenever I change any of these options, you will see that they will also change, or the photo will also change. So I'm gonna do is click on this. Let's say I'm gonna change the yellows. Okay, now I'm gonna do is, let's say, pick this part, or pick whichever part we want to use. Let's say I'm gonna do is skin tone. I'm gonna do skin tone to be something like this. Image. I'm going to do is select this part, and I'm going to do is change it by average, detect the face, which is going to be this one. And I can also localize the color. Let's say I'm going to need the fuzziness to be 50. Hit on enter, and you can see that the color has been selected just as I did it. But if you don't want that, just press on Ctrl Z again, and it will revert back to its actual self. I'm going to click on select again. You'll be able to do a lot more with these options. You can fix the fuzziness, and then also, do a lot of stuff with them. Okay, after you're done, just press on this OK, and then you'll be good to go, as you can see from over here. Now, certain parts of the photo has been selected. Okay, but I don't want that, so I'm going to do is, just zoom out for a while, and then, use the other tools. I'm going to go to select again, and then you'll be able to focus areas by using this option. Okay, now you can see that this option has appeared up, and you'll be able to fix the view mode, fix the parameters, and also do a bit of output over here. Well, what I'm going to do is going to be getting a preview first. You can see that there is on black, then overlay on white, and you will see that the background will change actually, as you can see from over here. Overlay matching ends, and that is how it actually works. Okay, on the view mode. So what I'm going to do is going to be matching arts or review layers, because I don't want any changes. Then I can do is get a preview too if I want to. In focus range, you can also fix the focus range and focus like area and all of those. Okay, so that you get a specific type of concentrated area, which is, or can be determined very easily by using this focus area tool. You can also go through advanced option by going through this image noise level. You can increase or decrease the noise level on the photo by using this tool and using the slider. You can also type in the number of data which you want to use. Let's say it is 0.100 right now. You can also put 98, literally put any number between 0.1 to 0.100, okay, which is also 1. You can also keep it on auto, both of them, so that you get a perfect type of result. You can also add soften edge. Okay, so you're gonna get soft edges and a soft touch on the edge of every photo. And after you're done, just press on OK, and you will see that the photo will have certain changes on it. Okay, as you can see from over here, that these parts have certain changes. As you can see that it looks a lot more smoother and a lot more brighter than how it actually was. So I'm going to click on this tool now. I'm going to zoom out for a while, and you can see the certain part has been selected. You can also move them sometimes. Okay, first what you have to do is convert it to normal layer, and then you'll be able to do it. But if not, you will not be able to do it, and you will see that the pop-up message will open up again and again. Okay, and that is how this option works. Then we have is this subject. You can also use the subject to do this. Okay, let's say if you want to fix any subjecting in the photo, or the subject in the photo, or make changes over there, then what you're going to do is use this option or use this tool of subject, which is going to help you a lot in a lot of essential ways and also a lot of basic ways. And you can also use it for professional purposes. Okay, as this software is very important. And as you can see, when I selected on subject, you can see that the whole subject has been selected. Now, just as I told you, you can make edits on the specific subject too. You can also cut it however you want. Okay, just as you can see, it's a lot like the mask tool which we used in Adobe Lightroom, but we also have the mask tool over here. But when you use the subject tool, it's going to select a specific subject from your photo, and then you'll be able to make changes on the specific subject. Your background will not be having any changes if you make any changes. Okay, And even if you do formats or changes on it, only the subject or the marked part of the area, which you can see the subject is this guy right now, only that part will be changed. Okay, so that is how the subject option works. So we are done with this option. You can also make copies of it. Let's say I'm gonna do is keep it over here. I'm gonna press on Alt, and now you can see I have two guys over here, and that is how you are going to make copy. What you have to do is just hold on to Alt key. Let's say I'm going to do is click on this option, and now you can see that this has no color. What I did is hold on to Alt, select on the subject first. Okay, subject is this guy. I'm going to do is Control Z, and you can see that this is how it actually looks. Okay, now what you have to do is press on Alt, and you will see you will be able to make a copy of this. Okay, and that is how you will be able to copy it to another page too. Let's say I'm going to press Control C. I'm going to go over here, paste it. And now you can see that this guy is also on this, open or blank page. And that is how you're going to use this, subject tool in Adobe Photoshop. So I'm going to go to select again, and you can also go over here and fix the sky of the photo. So what we're going to do is make up another photo or use another photo, which is going to be something like this, which we used in the previous lesson. What I'm going to do is going on select, go to sky. And now I'm going to do is make some changes on the sky just as I did. Okay, so it's going to take a bit of time to like specify the sky or select the sky. And now you can see the sky has been selected. Now you can make changes just as we did on the subject part. You can also copy it, or you can, like, let's say I'm going to do is Alt and make copies of it like this, but I don't want it, so I'm going to keep it like this. You can also remove it just as you want. I'm going to press on Control Z again and Control Z back again so that you can make copies of it. Let's say Control C. I'm going to paste it right over here. I'm going to do is Control V, and I can see that this part is also available over here. And that is how you are going to use these tools. Okay, so subject is going to select this, specific subject in the photo, and the sky will, like literally like determine and also make a cutout of the copy of the actual sky, and then you'll be able to make changes on it. Okay, then we have a select and mask tool, which is also quite similar to what we did right now, because that is of that category of selection and mask. Okay, so let's say I'm gonna use this tool. I'm gonna press on Control Z because I don't want any changes right now. Okay, now I'm gonna go to select, and you can select and mask your specific tool, which you can do right now. You can also use like Adobe Photoshop's, like, these tools of properties to actually get a specific result. You can like fix the transparency and all of those. So let me get through this, like, with all the tools and how those actually work. So what we're going to do is first off, select the view mode. Let's say I'm going to do is overlay part, or let's say matching ends. You can also use this, shortcut keys. Let's say M or Y, let's say V, and I can see V has been added. Let's say A, and you can see that certain presets will be directly applied to your photo. Now what we're going to do is fix on the edges. Let's say I'm going to do is show edge, because I don't want it because it makes the photo a bit darker. So let's say I'm going to do is show original and high quality preview. Okay, now I'm going to do is select the actual preset, which we can use. You can load or save your preset however you want, but that I do most of the time at the end. Then what we're going to do is remember the settings, refine the mode, and like edge detection, global refinement. Okay, I'm gonna do is click on this option and use these tools. Let's say object aware, place on OK. I'm gonna do is object aware is going to be this object, and I can see the photo is now, or this color is more vivid. Now it's what I'm gonna do is going to be fixing on the radius, as you can see from my screen. You can also use color awareness and also object awareness. That is like totally up to you. I'm gonna do is fix the radius of the edge detection. Let's say now it is making some certain changes. Okay, I'm gonna do is fix like it up till here. And I'm gonna do is smart radius, which is like most of the time like I like to use, because like when you do that, because Adobe Photoshop does know what to recommend and how the photo will look a lot more professional. So I'm going to keep it on smart radius. Then you can also do global refinements, just clicking on these options. Let's say I'm going to smoothness to be something around 45, feather to be 4.7, contrast to be a bit high, and shift edge to be something like this. And after you're done, just press on OK. Or you can also use the tool of, saving the preset or loading the preset according to your desire. After you're done, just press on OK, and then you're good to go. And that is how those tools actually work. Select and mask. You can also modify specific layers by selecting on this object first. Let's say I'm going to do is select on this object again. And what I'm going to do is, let's say I'm going to go over here or go over here. Let's say I'm going to go to this first layer so that I can actually use this subject. Okay. So I'm going to go over to select. You can modify it according to your need if you have certain objects. Okay. As I don't have certain objects right now, so what I'm going to do is delete that part. I'm going to use this part select, and you'll be able to modify it according to your need. You can also grow similar transform selection, add it in quick mask mode. So you can do that by using the quick mask mode, and then you will see the whole photo has been directly masked. Okay, but it will do a lot more difference, like different type of result than the other ones, because like it's going to mask like the whole page. Okay, but it's not going to mask a certain person or a certain object, or whichever type of object you want to use. So that means you have to refine it later on back again to get specific and perfect type of result. Then after you're done, just press on this load selection if you want to like load in any selection or any preset you want to use. Let's say load selection, and you'll be able to do that. And you can also fix the channel, let's say layer 1 transparency, which I used. You can also use invert and all of those. And after you're done, just press on OK. As I don't have any loaded objects or loaded presets and any of those, so I'm not going to do it. I'm going to cancel it. But if you do, just press on OK, and select the file which you want to open, and then you're good to go. And that is how the selection tool or the select tab gives you the functionality in Adobe Photoshop. Okay, now we are going to go to the tools or the tab of filter. So there are also a couple of these options. Well, this video might be a bit big, but what you have to do is just follow up these tabs and follow up this usage of tools, and then you'll be good to go. So first off, let's start off with the convert for smart filter. You can use certain objects and then convert it for smart filter. So I'm going to click on this option. I'm going to press on OK. You can see it has given me this certain object where I want to apply my filter. I'm going to click on filter again, and you can see that this photo has turned into a perfect type of filter to actually use. You can obviously, add in a couple of contents and also make changes to the photo, because that is how this option actually works of, converting it in such a way so that you can use it for later purpose and also for making changes a lot more easier. Now let's go to filter again. And now I'm going to do is filter gallery. You can also click on filter gallery, and you can see that an interface like this will appear up where you will be able to add in whichever type of filter you want to use. So first off, what we're going to do is add in our specific photo, which we can do from over here, new effect layer. Let's say I want sponge one or a poster one. Let's say I'm going to press on OK. And you can see that layer has been directly added over here. But you can also go through each and every one of them by going to filter gallery. And what we're going to do is going to be first off, copy this. I'm going to go to filter gallery, and it will take me over here. I'm going to paste it if I can over here, and then select whichever type of content you want to use. Let's say now I'm going to do something else. As you can see that there are a couple of these categories which you can use according to your desire. Now let's say I'm going to do distort, not distort, sketch. We have stylize. We have also texture. So from here, I'm going to use this stylize, and I'm going to press on OK. And you can see the photo has been stylized. Okay, what I'm going to do is go filter again, filter gallery, and use another one. Let's say from here, I'm going to do is go to distort or brush stroke and keep it on ink lineouts. And you can see the photo will actually looks like this. And that is how you'll be able to add in those, specific type of filters which you can use. Now we can also go back to filter and go to adaptive wide angle. So you can also use the couple of tools, Alt Shift Control A. You can do that, Alt Shift Control A, but I'm going to click on this option, and you will see an interface like this will appear up, and then you'll be able to fix out the, like the angle of the photo, certain photo. So I'm going to click on this option, and you can see after you're done, just press on escape and you are good to go. You can like change the focal length. So I'm going to click it over here. And you can see, let's say I'm going to click on this focal length to be full. I want it to be scaled into like this. Crop factor to be coupled like this. I want the correction to be like auto, because there is like no lens detected, it will not be able to do that on auto. But I'm going to keep it on perspective and also fisheye, whichever one I want, so that I get a full view of it. After you're done, just press on OK or select whichever tool you want to use, and you will see your photo will be perfectly, adjust it according to your need. Okay, so we are good to go about those tools too. Then we have this camera raw filter, which we used a while ago. So you can also use these tools to actually fix the lighting and all of those. Okay, so let me give you about this example of each and every one. So first thing what we're going to do is see on this histogram panel, where you'll be able to see this option, which is a lot similar to the one on Adobe Lightroom. Okay, so as this is quite similar to that Lightroom, you already know a couple of these options. So let's start off with the histogram. We have blacks, shadows, exposure, highlights, and whites. You can fix certain parts by clicking on it and then dragging it. Let's say I want the black to be changed, and you will see the black parts will change. You can also fix the shadows. Let's say I'm going to do is fix the shadows and increase it a bit. You can also fix the exposure. Let's say I'm going to keep the exposure to be a bit high, but if you want to keep it low to make it a lot more brighter, you can also do that. Then we can also go through a certain tool such as highlight. I'm going to do is change the highlight, increase it or decrease it according to my need. And last one is going to be whites, if you want it to be, fixing the whites or the white parts. And you can see whenever I change those, the sliders also, change according to their desire, which you can see over here, which will also change by, the histogram. Okay, so as histogram is, the wavelength of the light, which is, appearing on the photo. So you'll be able to change certain parts by going through these options too. Then what you can do is also select if you want it auto to be color or do you want it to be black and white. You can also select B and W and also keep it auto so that, you get a specific type of, adjustment to your photo. So I'm going to keep it on auto, but if I don't want it, just click on it back again and all the changes will revert back. Then you can select the color mode, let's say monochrome and all of those. Okay, which is kind of the same, but you can also add it. What you have to do is stay connected to the internet and also, to your subscription so that you can get full potential of your photo or your video and also the usage of Adobe Photoshop. As we're done here, we can also go to basics just as we do most of the times, which is like temperature, tint, and all of those. You can fix those by using the sliders. Okay, you can see yellow and this turns into blue. And then we have is green and then we have is pink. You can add any type of content or any type of changes you want to do through these options. Then we also have texture, fixing the texture. You can add in more texture and make it smoother and also make it a lot more harder. Then you can also fix the clarity of the photo by using the slider. You can also dehaze it according to your desire. Okay. Then we have is vibrance and also we have saturation, which you can see from over here. We can change the vibrance like this. And also change it like this, increase it, decrease it. That's totally up to you. Then we have is a lot similar tools just like we did on Adobe Lightroom, such as curve detail, color mixer, color grading, optics, geometry, effect, calibration. So I'm going to show you all of those later on, in the next lesson. So what we're going to do from over here is going to be using the other tools, but that is how you'll be able to fix all of it. Okay. So I'm going to go over to filter. So we are done with this camera raw filter. We are not done with it fully, so I'm going to show it to you later on of how you'll be able to use it to make a professional grade photo or edit it in a professional way. What I'm going to do is go to lens correction. If you want to fix up your lens correction, if you have any problem on your lens, you can also do that. What you have to do is select the camera and then select the camera model and then the lens model, and that lens problem will be fixed over here. It's not going to get perfectly fixed, but you can fix it just however you want it to be fixed or get a sub result out of it. After you're done, just press on cancel or OK, and then you're good to go with this filter option of lens correction too. You can also liquefy your subject or liquefy your photos by going through this option of liquefy tool. Then we have a certain tool from over here, which you can see from over here, which is the certain face and all of those. It's not appearing up over here yet, but that is the certain face which you can actually see. You can also change the size according to your need. Let's say I'm going to do is select on this part, and you can select that part and change it. You can also brush it according to your desire. You can also use this couple of tools, smooth ends, reconstruction tool, and all of those. By using these options, you'll be able to use the brush tool option, fixing the size and the pressure and all of those. let's say the size of this brush is now like this. Then we have his density, then we have his rate and all of those. Then we have his face aware liquify. You can see phase 1, which was over here, which is not available right now, but you can also do that by clicking on this face option and, you know, seeing how it actually works. We have eyes, nose, mouth, and all of those you can like structure well from over here. Okay, this is a bit complex, but you just have to know like how these tools actually work. Well, I will show it to you later on in another course of how to use Photoshop Advanced. But in this lesson, as this is a beginner friendly, you know, course and lesson, what you have to do is just know where it is, where to find the tools and how those tools actually work in Adobe Photoshop to get, you know, a perfect and professional type of result. So we are done with these options too. After you're done, you can just show the image and all of those, show mesh and all of those, and press on OK. And then you'll be good to go in this lesson too about, you know, the filter section and also liquefying your, you know, photo. Then we have is vanishing point. If you have vanishing point in your photo, then you're going to do all of those and, you know, you want to edit those. Then we have is 3D option. If you want to like add in 3D, you know, generate bump and normal map, you can also do that from over here. You have to wait for a while until it actually appears up in your photo. And you can see you'll be able to add in these, you know, certain type of objects like this 3D models. Okay. Then you'll be able to use the 3D tools in Adobe Photoshop. After you're done, just press on OK, and you can see the 3D model has been applied, or the 3D effect has been applied. Because I don't want it, I just want the, you know, perfect type of result or the perfect photo, as I'm going to show you like all of the advanced option and all of the advanced tools to use in the, you know, next course. So I'm going to keep it like super basic over here. I'm going to go to select our, you know, filter option again. You can also use blur tools and all of those like blur, gallery, distort, noise, pixelate, render, sharpen, stylize video, and others. Well, as we already showed you like a couple of tools in this option of select and filter, well, I'm going to show the rest of this filter option, or the blur, you know, blur, gallery, distort, noise, pixelate, render, sharpen, stylize video, and other, and all of these tools in the next lesson, as this has become already, you know, a long video. So what you have to do is, you know, use this couple of these tools to how to get through these options, and also to use the filter option like over here to liquefy. And in the, you know, next lesson, I'm going to show you like the other options or other tools which you can use in Adobe Photoshop to get, you know, a subtle type of result, and also edit your photos just the way you want. So thank you for watching this video, and also for staying with us, and hope to see you in the next lesson. Welcome back to this lesson of Adobe Photoshop again. In the previous lesson, I've shown you about the select tab and also a couple of these options and a couple of these tools of filter tab. But here, now I'm going to show you the extra tools of this filter tab, and then later go on to the 3D tab and Adobe Photoshop and the functionality it provides. So without any further ado, let's just jump into the lesson and show you the usage of these couple of tools. So first off, I'm going to go to filter and start off with this 3D, which I already showed you, which is like normal map and bump height. I'm going to select on this option, and you can see it will not be able to do that. First off, what you do is have your selected data over here. So I'm going to do is click on this resend over here, click on new file. I'm going to make a new page. So I'm going to do is click on A4, click on create, and then a new page will be created. Now what I'm going to do is click on select, and I'm going to do is subject. So it's going to like select the subject. Okay, so I'm going to take a while over here, and then it will select the specific subject from the photo. So I'm going to go to select again, and couldn't find a subject to select. There might not be a prominent object in the image. So I'm going to do is cut this option to, press on yes. I'm going to do is cancel, press on no. I'm not going to save it. So I'm going to go over to home, click on open again. I'm going to do is open it up back again so that I get, you know, a newer one. I'm going to go to select and subject. It will take a bit of a time, and then I'm going to do is take that subject directly to the page so that I'm going to be able to, you know, edit up all of those contents or all of the changes on that specific subject or the specific, you know, object. Okay, so now as I have it, so I'm going to do is press on Control C. I'm going to do is take it to the next page, or the first page which I have, and paste it right over here. Now as I already have this, so I'm going to do is go over the filter. Okay, now I'm going to do is add in those changes. Let's say bump height map, and you can see that a couple of these interface will appear up where I'll be able to make changes to the scenic object. So let's say first off, I'm going to do is change it to something like this, but not over this, I'm going to do is click on this option. I'm going to click on this, and you'll be able to add in 3D extrusion and all of those. Mesh from preset, I'm going to do is keep it on ring. Mesh from depth map and 3D volume. Press on create. So I'm going to do is create on the layer. So I'm going to do is select the layer, which is layer 1. Layer 1. Okay. Hit on OK and create. You must select multiple layers in order to create this volume. So what you have to do is select multiple layers. So let's say I'm going to do is start from, this one, depth effect. So now you'll see that there will be certain changes to your photo, and your photo will turn into a 3D model. You'll be able to use those tools in Adobe Photoshop. Then we have is other tools which you can also find in filter. So we are done with this 3D option. Then we have is blur. If you want to add in blur to your photo, just click on this blur option, and let's see, we have average blur, blur more, box blur. So let's just start off with this average one. Now you can see the full photo has been removed because this is a certain photo. I'm going to go over here and then click on this filter and click on blur and average blur. I'm going to do it over here. So first off, let's just do is inverse the selection, which is going to be something like this. Now I'm going to go to filter, go to blur, average blur, and you can see now the background has been like blurred, okay, which is average blur. But if I selected the certain subject, that photo would have been blurred, and that is how Photoshop is going to detect that. So I'm going to do is press on Ctrl Z. Now I'm going to go to filters right now. Now I'm going to do is click on blur, and then let's say blur more, and it's going to give me a certain effect on the photo. As you can see that the background has been a lot more blurred, and the certain photo looks a lot more better. So you can do those options by fiddling through these, tools. I'm going to go to filter again, click on blur. Let's say I want some motion blur or some lens blur. Okay. Now you can see that how it actually looks like. Okay. You can select the radius and all of those. You can see now the background has been more blurred. If you want more curvature, you can also do that. If you want to fix the rate, rotation, let's say I'm going to do is increase the brightness and decrease the threshold a bit. You can also add in the numbers. Let's say I'm going to keep it on 55, and you can see how it actually looks like. But you can get a preview of each and every one of them when you slide through these options. You can see the white part is now getting removed. Now I'm going to do is keep it over here, and that is how it actually looks like. After you're done, just press on OK, and you will see your photo will have a certain type of effect and also that certain type of blur in your photo, and it will look a lot more, portrait type of photo, which you expect. You can also use the other blur options which you see over here. Let's say I have motion blur. You can also add in motion blur from over here. Okay, let's say I'm going to use press on OK, and you can see that there will be a couple of motion blur to your photo and how those actually work. Now we can go to filter again. As we're done with this blur, we can go to blur gallery and fix these options, individually. You can use tilt shift and all of those, and an interface like this will appear up with a lot of tools. You can fix this radius. Okay, let's say I'm going to do is click on this option. I'm going to keep it over here, and this part will be, actually a lot more, let's say a lot more, whatever we call is, focusing on this part. But on the outside of this, this line, the other parts will be actually blurred out, because that is how this tool actually works in Adobe Photoshop. I can keep it like this, and you can see the hand part is now also getting a lot more blurred than how it actually was. Now you can see it actually works like this. So I'm going to do is undo it. I'm going to keep it to be how it was at the beginning. So I'm going to do is undo it for a while, and I'm going to do is keep it over here. That is how it should actually look like. So after you're done, you can also fix the lighting range and all of those by going through these slider options. Let's say I'm going to keep it over here. I'm going to do is bokeh should be like this. Light bokeh should be something like this. And now as I'm done, what you're going to do is going to pressing on OK. And you can also need a high quality. You can also select that. So you're going to get high quality images even after you're done editing with it. Now you can go to filter option and use whichever blur gallery option you want to use, and that will be the type of effect you'll be able to apply. So tilt is something like that. If you want field blur, you can also select that. You will see a field like option will appear up where you can select the specific area where you want to focus, and also you want the outside part to be blurred, and that is how field option actually works. Then we also have a couple of options like this path blur and spin blur, so that it's going to be specific type of areas of how you want your blur to appear. Okay, so we're gonna go to distort. If you want to add in distortion to your photo and make it look a bit more retro and also, you know, according to your need, you can also do that by going to distort. Let's say I want pinch on my photo, and I'm gonna do is click on over here, and what I'm gonna do is increase it or the amount to be something like this. Okay, press on OK. You will see that part will actually like increase. And that is how this option actually works. So what I'm going to do is press on Ctrl Z, as I don't want those pinch options. So I'm going to go over to filter again and go to distort. Let's say I want some shear. And I'm going to do is wrap around. I'm going to do is fix it like this, and you can see a preview like how it actually works. Okay. You can also select this OK, and you will see the photo will look like this, but keeping the actual subject in its place. And that is how those tools actually work. So what it's going to do is select the part where you don't want to, like, you know, like add in any content or make some changes. You will keep that part to be untouched, but make certain changes outside of the photo, and also, you know, keeping that part, or, you know, making a copy of that part. So that is how it actually works. You can go to distort again and use whichever one you want. Let's say I want zigzag, and all of those you can like fix ridges, fix the amount. Let's say I'm going to press on OK, and you will see a couple of changes will be made. You can see the zigzag options have been, you know, applied on this wall over here, but not on the certain photo. And that is how you will be able to use that tool. You can go to filter again, and you can use distort tool. Let's say I want some twirls right now. So I'm going to do is fix up the angles, press on OK, and you will see the background has now been made it into a twirl. Okay. And I'm going to do is cancel of this option. And after you're done, just press on this outside tool. Okay, I'm going to click on this option or select this option. You will be able to actually select the specific type of photo. Let's say I'm going to do is make some copy of it, or, you know, actually Control X. And you can, like, you know, revert it back to itself by giving it back what it wants. So I'm going to press on Control Z. After you're done, just press on Control Z, and then you're good to go. You will have, you know, a default photo just as you applied it. I'm going to go to filter again and use certain of these options as we're done with distort option 2. As you already know what it does, it just fixes out the background of, you know, the photo and how you want it to appear. But if you don't want it to be something like this, what you have to do is just use a couple of these options to, you know, get a preview of how those actually work. Then we have is noise. You can like add in noise, the speckle, dust and scratches, and all of those. Let's say I'm going to do is first off start with this add noise. You can like add in more greens and noise in your photo. You can also see a preview right from over here. You can like increase it or decrease it according to your desire. I'm going to do is add in Gaussian. So I'm going to press on OK. And now you can see the photo looks a lot more better. But you can see that you will not be able to see certain details in your specific photo. So I'm going to press on Control Z so that I can keep the photo to be as normal and also as natural as it is. So I'm going to be done with this option too. So you can also use other options of noise such as, you know, median, dust and scratches, the speckle, add noise. Let's say I'm going to do is reduce noise. If you want to reduce the noise in your photo, you can also do that. Let's say I'm going to keep the strength to be a lot high, preserve details, or you can like preserve your details a lot more and reduce color noise. I'm going to keep it like this so you lose a lot of grains and a lot of, you know, which looks like grains in your photo or a lot of noise in your photo. You can also do that, sharpen up. You can see that there are a lot of grains which are visible right now. You can reduce that. Let's say I'm going to just click on this option. I'm going to keep it like this, and you can see it has become a lot more smoother, but at least the noise are not visible. Okay, so after you're done, just press on OK, and you will see that it will be how it will look like. It will not look that better, but, you know, it will just remove the noise from your photo and make it a lot more smoother. And that is the, you know, the usage of removing noise is how it works in Adobe Photoshop. Then we are going to do is go on pixelate. If you want to like work anything about pixelating, like fixing the pixelating or, you know, making pixelated object, you can also do that. Let's say color halftone, which is the first one. You can like fix the halftone. So I'm going to do is change the maximum radius. Let's say the maximum radius to be 5 pixels per unit. Then channel is 108 and keep it to be something like this. Press on OK, and you will see it will look like this. And you also see a couple of guys right now. Okay, so as you can see, that is how it will change. But as I don't want it because it looks a lot more, you know, worse than how it is, so you can go to filter again, go to pixelate. You can like go to crystallize and make crystallizing objects in your photo. Now you will see that the photo will turn into crystallized object, or, you know, a lot more crystallized. So I'm going to do is zoom in, and you will see the objects or the details are now crystallized. And that is how it actually works about this crystallized tool. You can also see the skin has turned into crystallized, okay? So what I'm going to do is zoom out, Control Z, and you can see it has reverted back. Now I'm going to go to filter again, or whichever option I want to use. I'm going to go to pixelate. We have fragmentation, mesotint, mosaic, pointillize, and it will be made into that specific cell. Let's say if you want yours it to be mosaic, you can also do that. Let's say I'm going to do center size to be something like this, and you can see it has become a lot more pixelated according to your desire. You can use this slider to get a preview of it and then press on OK to actually apply it. You can also cover up certain parts of it by using those tools too. Now I'm going to go over to render. To render a specific type of photo or object in your certain photo, you are going to use this render tool. If you want to flame your photo, click on flame and you will see the certain path is required to use this filter. So you have to select the certain photo. Let's say I'm going to click on this option and keep it on over here. Click on filter. I'm going to do is undo on this option. I'm going to keep it on over here. Click on filter. Now I'm going to do is click on this render flame. Now you can see selected path is required. What you have to do is select the actual path of this photo and then you'll be able to apply it. So I'm going to go over here, click on filter. Now I'm going to do is click on render, and now you can select the picture frame. If you want to select the picture frame, click on this option and you will see an interface like this will appear up, and then you'll be able to fix the size and fix the color of how it actually is. You can use these tools to make a specific type of frame you want to use for your photo. So I'm going to do is fix out the margin so you can see something like this, and I'm going to do is keep it something like this, and you can change the size and keep it according to your desire. So I'm going to do is fix the arrangement. After you're done, you can also go to advanced and fix the number of lines, thickness, angle, and also make fade, or however you want to keep it as. So I'm going to do is keep the angle to be something, how it was, and I'm going to do is change the fade to be somewhere around here. And now I'm going to do is keep it to be okay, and you will see your photo will have a specific type of frame later on, and you can fix it according to your desire. But what you have to do is fix out the resolution first so that you can put it according to your desire, and also put it so that it is actually on the outline of the photo, not inside of the photo. So I'm going to do is press on cancel. I'm going to do is Control Z. And as we're done with this option of actually rendering your photo, now we can also use tree option. You can just click on this tree option and you will see a tool like that will appear up where you will be able to add in a couple of trees on your photo. You can also go to advanced and all. After you're done, just press on OK. You will see a tree will be added to your specific photo. Okay, and that is how sometimes to make your photo natural and all of those, you can use these AI tools such as this tree option, okay, to actually apply it on your photo and make the photo look something like that. But eventually, it's not that useful, but sometimes it actually comes to use where you will be able to fill in a certain place and a certain object or a certain space with those type of contents, and that is how those tools actually work. Okay, then we have this other tools such as clouds, different clouds, fibers, lens flares, and all of those. Let's say if you want to add in lens flare, just click on this lens flare option. If you want to add in fiber contents, you can also click on fibers. You can add in different clouds and do certain effects or changes on clouds of the photo. Just click on these options and different clouds of this option. You will see clouds will be applied. Press on Z. I'm going to click on filter, go to render, and I'm going to use different clouds. So I'm going to click on this option. You can see different clouds has been added and all of those, how it actually works. Okay, what you have to do is couple of these options to fix certain parts of your photo and then actually make changes to it. Now I'm going to go to filter again. Now I'm going to do is, as we're done with render, if you want to sharpen up your photos according to your need, you can also do that. First off, let's start with the basic. Click on sharpen, and a photo will be turned into a sharpened one. It will take a bit of a time, but you might not be able to see certain changes, but you can also see a couple of changes, the photo has been turned into a bit sharp. I'm going to press on Control Z, and you can see that there are less details right now. I'm going to click on filter. I'm going to do is click on sharpen. Let's say I'm going to do is sharpen the edges. Now you will see the edges will be sharpened, and I'm going to go to filter again. You can see other tools like smart sharpen, and these options will appear up. You can like fix the amount, you can fix the radius, you can also reduce the noise according to your desire. After you're done, just press on OK, and now your photo will turn into a lot sharper and look more detailed in your photo and how you worked on it, just as you can see from over here. Okay, that is how this sharpen tool actually works in Adobe Photoshop. There is other tool of unsharp mask too. If you want to unsharp your photo, just click on this option and do the work what you're going to do, and use the sliders, and you will be able to get a specific type of result just as you want. Now we also have is the stylize option of diffuse, emboss, then find edges, all, painting, solarize, and all of those. Let's say I'm going to click on this diffuse option. If you want to diffuse your photo, let's say I'm going to click on this option, and you will also get a preview of it. Press on OK, and that effect will be applied to your photo. Okay, so I'm going to do this and use a couple of these options too. So I'm going to go to filter, I'm going to go to stylize, and let's say I'm going to do is emboss that photo, and you can see that this is how it actually looks like. So I don't want that, so I'm going to do is press on cancel, and you can see it has been removed. I'm going to go to stylize again, and you can use find edges, all, painting, solarize, and that is also a kind of effect which we use. So I'm going to go over the video, and you can like use these colors such as NTSC color and other color format which you want to use in this photo. So I'm going to do is click on this option, deinterlace, and you can even lines. Let's say I'm going to do is duplication, press on OK, and you will see that will be directly applied. Okay, I'm going to go to filter again, and the last one is this others, where you'll be able to do other stuff such as custom, high pass, HSB, HSL, maximum, minimum, and offset. Okay, so what is this HSB? Okay, so HSB and HSL, okay, which is kind of like hue, saturation, and like the blow point, okay, and the modes and the parameters and all of those, okay, saturation and luminance. Well, all of them is like over here. Now you can select HSB or HSL, okay, hue, saturation, luminance, or hue, saturation, blue point, okay. And then RGB, HSL, you can select it from over here, which is the row order and import order. So the row order will be inputted in rows, and the import order is that how you want it to be input. I'm going to press on OK, and you will see a couple of changes will be made, because that is how it actually works on HSL and HSB. Okay, then we have is this other tool of high pass, which you can also use. You can see that this is a lot similar to the one we used a while ago, but I don't want that, so I'm going to use click on custom, and you can see an interface like this will appear up, where you'll be able to add in your type of content, okay, like this 5, and make changes to your need. And let's say I'm going to do is keep it on 1, and you can see it is changing one by one, right? And that is how it actually works on this option. Well, this is a lot more complex than it actually looks like, okay? So what you have to do is use a couple of these tools to how to use them, and you can also use maximum and minimum to get a specific type of result over here, which I use right now to make it look a lot more detailed. I can go to filter again and go to minimum so that I can add in minimum effect to the photo, and you can see this is how it actually looks like. This is not visible to see, but I'm going to press on Ctrl Z so that I can discard this option and discard the effect which I did. So I'm going to suggest you to actually use a couple of these tools to actually feel how it actually looks like, and how those actually work in Adobe Photoshop, and how those can be inputted in a photo and how it will look like. So what you have to do is just fiddle with these tools in Adobe Photoshop and see how it actually works. Now what we're going to do is going to be using the raw color format, which I told you that I will be showing you in this lesson. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go on to filter, and then what I'm going to do is going to be going on this, like this option of, like which we call as raw, like color range, or the raw color filter. So camera raw filter, and you will see the interface will appear up, and I'm going to give you quite a lot of these options, which we already did in the previous one, was this histogram, and also these options or these sliders up till saturation. So I'm going to show it to you from curve. If you want to use curve, just click on this curve option, and you can see that this is the parametric curve, then this is the point curve, and red, green, blue. So first off, let's select the option which is shadow, and then dark, then light, and then highlight, and all of those. You can fix this from over here. Let's say I'm going to fix the dark, I'm going to fix the light, I'm gonna fix the highlight. Okay, so as you can see from over here, this sliders also change its shape or changes its position when I change this, and when I'm gonna change it to, the line will also change something like this. See, this is how the histogram actually works. It gives you a specific type of wavelength of how the photo is constructed. So I'm going to do is increase the shadows a bit more so it looks a lot more brighter. And you can see that the line also changed. I'm going to click on green part now. So I'm going to only fix out the green parts of the photo right now. So I'm going to do select on this option, and you can see this is how it actually looks like. You can change it according to your desire. Okay, that's like totally up to you. Now I'm going to do is keep it to be somewhere around here. Okay, it doesn't look that bad, so I'm going to keep it over here. You can also fix the input and also the output. You can also do the same thing with, you know, blue color and also the red color of your photo, and you can also use this global color, which is only black and white. Okay, I'm going to press on Control Z and go to the other tools except for curve. I'm going to click on this curve option. I'm going to go to details. You'll be able to, you know, fix in the details of your specific photo by going through these tools, such as sharpening, noise reduction, color noise reduction. Okay, now you can see the photo is a lot more sharp and a lot more smoother. So I'm going to click on this option, and you will see it will gain back a lot of details when I remove this or, you know, take it to the left side. So I'm going to go through these options as I'm done with details too. Now let's go to color mixer. You can like fix specific colors in your specific photo. If you want to change the red, use the slider of, you know, red. You can use the slider of orange to fix orange, yellow, green, aqua, blue. Let's say I'm going to fix on more blue, or like keep the blue to be somewhere around this. You can see it has a lot more bluer. You can fix the purple, you can fix the magentas and all of those. So this is how all of these tools actually work. But as this is an HSL tool, you can use saturation, you know, different type of saturation too, fix the luminance and all at once too. Okay, as we did from the first one. You can also fix the colors, like specific colors, and change them according to your need. You can also fix like hue of the color, saturation of it, and also the luminance of your photo. And that is like very simple to use, and also you will be good to go when you just, you know, fiddle with a couple of these tools and get a specific type of result. So we are done with this color mixer too. Let's go to color grading. If you want to color grade your photo, this is the tool for you, and this is just as it looks like on Adobe Lightroom. We have this global or the three-way, then we have a single way such as shadows, midtones, and highlights, which is the same one as this midtone, shadow, and highlight, and then we have is global. Okay, first off, we can start off with specific, you know, regions such as shadows, then the midtones, and also the highlights. So let's go over three ways and fix them according to your need. So I'm going to keep it over here, fix the shadow to be something like this, and highlight to be somewhere around here. Okay, now after you're done, just go to global and fix it according to your need. So let's say I'm going to keep it somewhere around over here, so it looks a lot more yellowish but looks a lot more better. So I'm going to keep it over here. Let's say I'm going to keep it to be a bit natural but not that natural because I changed the color to be something totally different. I'm going to do is keep it somewhere around, let's say over here. Okay, looks a lot more better than how it actually was. You can fix the luminance from over here too. You can see how it actually works, and you can also see the histogram is changing each time I make changes to the photo, and gives you how the photo is constructed. You can also use these options such as highlight warming. You can see this option. Okay, you can also use these options. Okay, so this is how it actually works on color grading too. Then we have is optics, geometry, effect, and calibration. So let's start off with the optics. You can make distortions just like this. You can shrink it and increase the size too. You can also fix the vignetting of the photo by using this option. So as I don't want it, I'm going to press on Control Z, keep it over here. I'm going to do is, as we're done with optic, you can also add in your number to get a specific type of result. You can also use this option to, you know, fix your midpoint too. But as I don't have any midpoints, I'm going to do is done with optics. Then we have is geometry. You can also fix the geometry of the photo by using this option. You can also use text and all of those by using this option of geometry, which is a bit, you know, complex for a couple of users. But if you like use it for a couple of times, you will be seeing that you will get a hold of it. Okay, you can keep it to be upright, or, you know, use certain level of, you know, object and certain level of, you know, perspective. Then we have is draw guides. You can also do that. Then after you're done, we are also done with this geometry. Then we have this effect option. You can like add in grains and also vignetting through this option. Okay, but it is a lot more different than how vignetting actually works. So after you're done with effect, The last one is the calibration. So calibration has these, 7 sliders, which we also like told you in the previous lesson, or maybe in the lesson of Adobe Lightroom if you've seen those videos. So what we can do is also use the tint tools to actually get a specific type of result. You can use process, versions. There are 5 versions of them. I'm going to suggest you to use version 5 because that is the latest. But I can suggest you to use version 2 too, because that is also quite effective on your photo and gives you a specific type of result. But I'm going to use version 5 and keep it to be somewhere around here. I'm going to press Ctrl Z. Okay, I'm going to keep it something around here, and you can fix specific colors by using these sliders and get a specific type of result. You might not see like, more effective, like, highly effective or strong effective options or effect being applied on the photo by using this calibration, because calibration only helps you to fix, the calibration of light in a specific photo or, some parts of it. Okay. So hope you understood everything about this lesson too, about this, Camera Raw 15.0. And I'm going to suggest you to use the newer versions of Adobe Photoshop so that you get the full potential of Adobe Photoshop. Then you can also use these tools, such as these options appear over here on the right side, such as this healing tool. Then we have this mask tool, red eye fixing tool, and the last one is this tool of contour or preset, which you can use from over here. And this is the edit part. You can use this, settings option to, actually fix in the interface of this, camera raw filter option. After you're done, just press on OK, and then you'll be able to, fix whatever content you want to fix, and you will get a specific type of result too. It will analyze your data also. Obviously, I just rubbed it on, but obviously, if you want to fix on, what you're going to do is just, use this tool of actually how it works and then actually get a result. So I'm going to do is cancel this option because I don't need any of these. I'm going to do is cancel, dismiss camera. So I'm going to go over the filter again. I'm going to do is camera filter and fix a couple of spots in the specific photo by using those options. I'm going to do is click on this heal tool. I'm going to fix on the size, click into B5. I'm going to zoom in the photo. Okay. So I'm going to do is keep it over here, and I'm going to do is select on this option. I'm going to do is go up. I'm going to do is use the heal tool, try on my own. And I'm going to do is click on this heal option, which is like very simple to use. And you will see that it will detect the photo for a while and detect the part and then heal your photo. Just as you can see, the spots have been removed. And that is how you will be able to use these tools in Adobe Photoshop. Okay. You can see it looks a bit, weird, but I'm going to do is fix those parts however I can and make it look a lot more better than how it actually was. You can see the parts are now more easier to remove than how it does in Adobe Lightroom. So it is like, faster and a lot more manipulative than Adobe Lightroom, which works with, less, function of tools. Okay. As this is specified in photo editing software. So obviously Photoshop is going to be a lot more better. You can use this mask option too. Let's say I'm going to select the subject. So I'm going to wait for a while until this whole person actually gets, selected. So I'm going to do is zoom out for a while and then see how it takes some time and then, actually masks our, person or subject in the photo. Okay. Now you can see that the photo which we have, or the object which we set to be masked, is now masked and covered in red. So obviously that is the part of the subject which is going to be selected when you use the mask tool. If you want to use other, objects to mask, you can also use this option and select whichever object you want to use. You can select objects, select the background, select the sky, and also even use the brush to manually select whichever object you want to mask. And then, obviously add, or format it or make changes to it according to your desire. Obviously, those tools will also appear over here to actually help you to fix the details and all of those, options, just as we did on this edit section. So only then, after you mask, only the masked part will have all of those changes when you edit it from over here. Okay. And not the background. But if you fix or select the background, only the background part will be changed, or, background part will be, edited. And that is how those actually, or this actually works on masking this tool. Then we have is this option of red eye correction, which is very simple. If you have a red eye in your photo, or a person in the photo has a red eye and you want to fix it, just use this option. You will be able to fix that option very easily. Then we have is this option of, presets, which you can use. Well, I'm going to show it to you later on in the next course, or, in the next lesson. So you can be able to use specific type of presets you want to use, and there are a lot of type of presets which you can apply in your specific photo in Adobe Photoshop. Okay, so hope you understood everything about this lesson on Adobe Photoshop and also this option. So I hope you understood everything about this lesson on using raw camera filter and all of those, and also about where you will find be able to find those tools, and also these options of filter and select tool, and also the additional tools of filter tab. So thank you for watching this video, and also for staying with us, and hope to see you in the next lesson, where I'm going to be showing you about the presets and also about the other tabs of 3D and view, and then later on plugin windows and help. So stay tuned for those other videos. Welcome to another lesson of Adobe Photoshop Classic. So in this lesson, I'm going to show you about the 3D tab and the View tab, and also a couple of tools and how you would be able to edit your photos and also do your work by using those functionality provided by Photoshop. Okay, in the previous lesson, we learned all about the filter module or the filter tab and the select tab and the the tools inside of them. Then we also learned about raw camera filter and all of those. But in this lesson, just as I told you, we are going to be doing or using the tab of 3D and view. So first off, let's just open up a new file, or let's just open up a photo which we can use right now. We can also use it from over there, but I want a new one, so I'm going to click on this option and then take the photo which I used in the previous lesson. Okay, so first off, I'm going to do is go to 3D, and you can see that all about 3D option has appeared up, but one thing is for sure, that your photo does not contain 3D details. And if you want to add in 3D details, you have to do a lot more, like usage of tools, the ones which you used in the previous lesson. Okay, first off, we have is the new 3D layer from file. You can apply your new 3D layer from file. Let's say I'm going to use this one, press on OK, and you can see that this option will appear up. Could not complete the new 3D layer from file command because the selected file is not recognized as a 3D format. So obviously you're going to need a 3D file or a 3D photo, so that you will be able to apply that 3D layer. But what you have to do is, let's say I'm going to turn this into a 3D model or a 3D layer. So I'm going to go over to filter, go to 3D, and I'm going to do is generate bump or normal map. Let's say I'm going to do is normal map, and you can see, you will see that an option like a globe will appear up. Okay, you can see an option like this appears up, and then an interface like something like this will appear up in a couple of seconds, and then you'll be able to apply in your own type of content or make your photo into a 3D shape or something looking like 3D. Okay, so I'm gonna wait for a while and then wait for that option to appear up, so that I will be able to apply that and also make changes to my photo. As you can see now, the photo has changed how it actually looks like. This see the interface of generating normal map has also appeared up, and I will be able to edit that through over here. And what happens after you generate your map or generate your photo into a 3D like normal map is that it turns your photo into a 3D, so that you are going to get all of the options or all of the tools which you'll be able to use in the 3D tab of Adobe Photoshop. You can fix all of them from over here by using this histogram too. Then we have this lighting preset, then invert height, and this whole globe which you will be able to change. Okay, also like look around from each sides. Okay, that is like very simple to do. After you're done, what you're going to do is just press on OK, and then you're good to go, and you'll see that it will be also applied to your photo, but it will take some time, and obviously it's going to take up a lot of CPU usage. Sometimes on lower end PC it might also crash, so you have to keep that in mind and then work directly on it. Then you have to like select the object layers and also how you want it to appear. Let's say I want 3D extrusion. After you're done, just click on this option and then you are good to go. Then we can go to 3D option, and you can see much of these options will appear up. You can see spherical panorama. You will be able to add in like panorama to, let's say I'm going to new panorama layer effect, which I want to use on my Adobe Photoshop and in this photo. You can do that from over here, but as this photo is not that large or like that, what you can do is obviously wait and see how those actually work, and also get a preview of it, something like this, which is also kind of like a 3D, but it looks a lot more, better than how it actually was, okay, instead of this 3D camera, which we are using right now to, view the photo and the image, okay. So what I'm going to do is just press on Ctrl Z, and then wait for a while so that I will be able to use that tool and use other tools, and also show you all of the tools in Adobe Photoshop. Okay, so what it actually does is that gives you a 3D camera point of view, which we used in this panorama effect or panorama option, so that you'll be able to actually visualize that in a panorama type format. So that is sometimes like very useful, because if you want to see a lot of content in a specific photo and a specific background, this tool is most of the time used. So now we're going to learn about the other tools which we have except of circle per panorama. Then we have is get more content. If you want to add in more content or get more content from online and other websites too, you can just click on that option, and it will give you or suggest you new contents and more content which you can apply in Adobe Photoshop. Then we have is new 3D extrusion from like selected layers. First off, you're going to need like a couple of layers which you can apply. Let's say I'm going to do is add in a couple of layers which I'm going to be able to use. I'm going to go to 3D now. Now after going to 3D, what I'm going to do is new 3D extrusion layer. Now it's going to take some time. Sometimes it might give you an error, but it's going to give you a 3D layer, okay, sometimes, okay, so that you'll be able to use that. And now you can see that this command has given you an error, just because you have to have the selected area, okay, and the selection area needs to be like it cannot be empty. And this is a photo, okay, obviously it doesn't contain any 3D object or details, thus it's not going to give you a result. But if you do have a 3D photo, or let's say a 3D detail in a specific photo, only then you'll be able to use those options of 3D. Well, I'm going to give you like all about the usage of these tools later on in another course of Photoshop Advanced, so you have to stay tuned for that. But as this is just a basic course and all about the essentials and all of those, so I'm just going to keep it something like this, which is going to be very simple for beginners to actually go through these tools, and also the interface, and also how those actually work to get simple idea about it. Okay, we have all of these tools over here, like grouping tools and all of those, group all, ungroup all, then move object to ground plane and ground plane. Then we have this new tiled painting from layer. You can also get that by clicking on this. Well, it might also give you something like an error, which you will not be able to use, but sometimes it actually works if the photo contains those type of details. But you will see an interface like this will appear up, where you will be able to change your content or see your content according to your need. Okay, that's like very simple to do in Adobe Photoshop, and you will be able to see that right through here if you have something like that, or that details over here. But you will be able to see those 3D camera options over here too, which you'll be able to see your photo in such a way, like in 3D way, and also panorama, and also sometimes like 360 and all of those. Okay, you have these options like 360, like orbit the 3D camera, then we have is 3D pan camera, and then at the last we have 3D dolly. Okay, so you have different uses of each of these options. Then at the right side we also have these couple of tools which we can use, which is also like the camera viewing angle and all of those. If you want to fix up your POV from wherever you want, you can also use or save presets, and also let's say left, right, top, bottom, whichever side you want to like see it on or see it as, you'll be able to do that. But obviously you're going to need your photo to be in 3D, okay, only then you'll be able to see that. Okay, but if you don't have it, then sometimes it might change your perspective a bit, okay, or sometimes not even, touch your layer, or, do any changes to your layers, so that nothing will be added. Okay, and that is how actually those options actually work. Then we have is perspective and orthographic. You can change your perspective and orthographic according to your need. Well, there are a couple of these options which you'll be able to pick, but as those are not those beginner friendly, so I'm going to skip those parts and show it to you later on. But obviously I'm going to use those tools just so you know how those actually work, right? So let's try using those options like perspective. and then orthographic 2, you can select on deselect on them to get, you know, a different type of perspective only if you have like 3D objects. Okay, that is something like this, okay, which you will be able to do. It will take a time, like it will take a couple of time to load up, and then it will give you a specific type of result, how it actually looks on perspective and orthographic. Now let's move on to the next one of this, you know, thing where you will be able to actually also give effect or the number effect or the density of that effect, okay, which is by selecting the number or typing in the number value. What I'm going to do is change the FOV by using the slider from over here. You can change it however you want, 86, and then keep it according to your desire. Then you can also fix up the millimeter lenses, then the depth field, distance, stereo, and all of those, okay, by using these options which this 3D model option has to offer, and all of those tools, okay. Well, we already know now about quite a lot of these tools which, you know, the 3D tool or the 3D tab has to offer, okay, because most of those tools which are over here are most of the tools that appear in each and every of the functionality 3D tab has to offer. Okay, you will be able to do all of those stuffs by going through this section, but there are also a couple of these tools such as brushes and all of those. You will be able to do that too, but this is for masking and all of those for selecting a specific subject and, you know, editing those objects, okay, or subject, whichever type you want to prefer. Okay, well, we are now done with this FOV and also, you know, the millimeter lenses and orthographics and all of those. Okay, so what we're gonna do next is going to be going on 3D and showing you the last of the functionality it has to offer without the 3D model and also the 3D details, which, you know, you have to use these tools in Adobe Photoshop for getting access to these tools. Okay, so without any further ado, let's just go into, you know, the more tools which Adobe Photoshop has to offer. So now let's move on to the other tools. So I'm going to click on 3D. And you can see we were done with new tile painting film layers. Okay, so now you can see that the other tools are now all grayed out. So obviously, just as I told you from the beginning, you need to have 3D, you know, details. So let's just move to this view tab and what tool does it has to offer. First off, we're going to start off with the proof setup. So I'm going to start off with the proof setup. Click on this option and you can see an option like this will appear up. Okay, such as this custom, working CMYK, working cyan plate, working magenta plate, and all of those. So let's start off by knowing how those actually work. Most of the time, as I suggest you from the beginning of this course, I most of the time try working on CMYK because I like that, you know, color panel. And let's say I'm going to do is work on, you know, cyan plate, and you will see only the cyan plate you'll be able to use that. Then we can also see the magenta plate and all of those. Okay. So what it means that only the specific color will be, or, you know, will be able to be, let's say, be usable or changeable or, you know, customizable and all of those. So all of the panels or plates are over here. Let's say CMY plates, and you can see the K plates are not over here. Okay, so that is like totally up to you which plate you want to use and, you know, fix on it. You can also use like these options such as Legacy, Macintosh RGB, and then Internet Standard RGB, sRGB, which we call. Then we have is monitor RGB. Well, if you have, you know, an older monitor, or let's say you want to get the full potential of a monitor, then select on this option and it will give you the perfect type of preview and the, you know, type of work you want to start working on. Then we have is color blindness option 2, which we also have here, both of them, protanopia and also deuteranopia. You can select whichever one you want and you will see, or the person who is colorblind will be able to see all of the colors all together and also get the full potential of it. And we also have this option too. So this is like very doable, and obviously Photoshop has that option for, you know, every people. Okay, I'm going to click on CMYK because I prefer it most of the time. Then we also have proof colors. If you want proof colors, then select on it. It will be more vivid than all the times. Okay, so I'm going to click on this option and I'm going to click on proof colors. Then we have is gamut warming. If you have the warming, or like, you know, the warming, if you want it, okay, you can just click on it so that it will give you that warning if it like exceeds that limit and all of those. Then we also have this pixel aspect ratio. If you want to fix those options, you can select these from over here. I've also shown it to you previous, you know, in a couple like lessons back. which is also over here. You can also custom your pixel aspect ratio, but you can also fix it from, you know, the beginning. Okay, so I'm going to click on this custom pixel aspect ratio, then you will be able to name it, then, you know, give the number factor and then press on OK, and then you'll be good to go. You can also fix the height and width all from over here. You can also select the color mode and also the bits channels from over here, which will be always open right on here. Okay, then the next we have is zoom in and then zoom out, which you'll be able to do most of the time by holding onto Alt key and then using your scroll button key. Okay, you have to select this tool and then zoom out however you want. You can also zoom out by clicking on zoom out. Okay, plus and minus, control plus and minus, whichever one you want. That's like totally up to you. Then we have is fit on screen. If you want your full photo to fit on your screen, so just press on this and you will get a fit on screen photo view. Okay, even if you're like up over there, let's say I'm going to click on this option and go up over here and go to view, and let's say fit on screen. It will take a bit of a time and it will give you that fit on screen view. So I'm going to go over again and let's see how this actually works. I'm going to wait for a while. And now you can see it has given me that fit on screen like view. Okay, now the next thing is going to be a bit different, such as fit layers on screen. You can fit your layers on screen too. So this is the whole layer, and now it has been fitted on my screen, and that is how it actually looks like. So you don't have to like zoom in and zoom out to get, you know, a perfect type of preview of the whole photo, okay, by zooming in and out, because that might be inaccurate. But if you want that accurate result, just click on those options which view tab has to offer, then you will get that result. Then you also have 100% to 100% on all of those. You can like zoom in and out however you want. You just need to ignore this part, or you have to turn your photo into something else to, you know, actually get that type of result. So I'm going to do is zoom out for a while, press on your, you know, Alt key and then scroll key to zoom in and out. That is very simple. I can click on view again, and then you get the print size, actual size, and all of those by using these options. You can also flip your photo horizontally and keep it like this if you want it to be. You can also get pattern preview. Just press on OK, and you can see the pattern like this, okay, which is like the 3 part of them. So as I'm not going to need all of them, so I'm going to do is press on Control Z and then go back to how it actually was, or undo the project, or undo what it was. And then I'm going to get like other modes. You can also see the print size or the actual size by clicking on these options. Let's see the actual size of this photo. The actual size is something like this. Okay, let's go to the print size, which is something like this. Okay, so this is like very simple to do in Adobe Photoshop and get most of the previews, which is found on the view tab. Okay, then we have a screen mode. How do you want your screen mode? You can also get into full screen mode with menu bar, or full screen mode just like this. Get to full screen mode and you can see this is how it actually looks. Well, it's most of the time used in, you know, for previews, or, you know, for viewers who's going to see it. Just press on escape so that you can get out of there. You can also use something like, you know, full mode with, you know, only menu bars, so it gives you a lot more space. Okay, so that is also very simple, which also sometimes hides your taskbar which you are using on your PC, but you don't have to worry that much. Just press on these view option again, go to screen mode and go to standard screen mode again, and it will get back to its default self and how it actually looks like. So now you know these tools about Adobe Photoshop. Then we have is extras. If you want extra tools, just click on these extras. And if you don't want that, just go to view and then go to click on extras, and it will give you the extra tools and extra information and all of those what you want. Then you can also have show over here. You can also use these layers such as layer edges, grids, smart guide, slices, pixel to grid, and all of these options. You can also get 3D secondary view and all of these options by selecting whichever one you want. But I'm not going to go through each and every one of them because this is a beginner friendly lesson. So I'm going to go to rulers now. You can also see the rulers, okay, which is also similar to the ones if you're familiar with using like Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, and Excel, and all of those. If you want ruler, this is something like that. You can also see where it is located or where the pointer is. Okay, so now you know how it actually works on rulers. Okay, so hope you understood everything about that. Then we have a snap. If you want to take a snap, or you want to snap to, let's say I want no document. Okay, so I'm going to click on this view and I'm going to do snap to guides. I don't want guides. Okay, so it's going to be something like this. Okay, you can also use these other options which are not over here, but those are like transform controls. Okay, so I'm going to go view over here right now. I'm going to click on guides, keep the guides on, and then what I'm going to do is going to be clicking on guides, and you can lock your guides, add new guides, and also your guide layout. let's say new guide layout, and it's going to be something like this. Press on OK, and you can see the guides are something like this. Okay, so that will help you to fix your photo or your object, whichever one you have. We can go to view again, and then the last one is going to be lock slices. If you want to lock your slices, okay, which we did in the previous lesson or a couple of lessons back, if you slice your photos and then you want it to lock your slices, okay, you can also do that by clicking on this. And if you select it on, select on it again, it will just revert itself back to how it actually was. So now you know all about the tools of 3D and also the view tab. So as all of these options and all of these tools are very simple to use, so what you have to do is just use these tools to actually get to know them better, and also where to find them and how it will affect your photo. Okay, so thank you for watching this video too, and also if you didn't understand a part, please let us know. We will guide you through the process and also let you know how to help and also be effective about it. Okay, so thank you for watching this video again, and also for staying with us, and also I'm hoping to see you in my next lesson about which is going to be plugins, windows, and also how you're going to get help in Adobe Photoshop. And after we're done with this interface, I'm going to show you a couple of projects or a couple of works which you can do by using these tools in Adobe Photoshop. Okay, so thank you for staying with us. Welcome back to another lesson of Adobe Photoshop. In this lesson, we are going to learn about the plugin tab and then the Windows tab, and at the end, I'm going to show you a couple of the tools which help has to offer in Adobe Photoshop. So without any further ado, let's just jump into the lesson where we are going to learn about the tools and functionality offered by Photoshop in their plugin and Windows tab. So let's click on View. Okay, so first thing what we see when we click on View is that we get Proof Setup. Okay, what we're gonna do is click on this option, Proof Setup, and you can see that there are a couple of these options which I showed you previously, okay, which we saw. But I'm gonna go on Plugin. You can go to Plugins panel, and you can see that another panel has opened up over here. What we have to do is, if you want to increase the functionality of Adobe Photoshop, such as outsider and outside softwares, what you have to do is that you get out of Photoshop and then do those works. So what we have to do is that download those type of plugins in Adobe Photoshop, so that you can increase or increase that area of functionality in Adobe Photoshop, so that you can get your work done and all of it in Adobe Photoshop. So you can find those plugins, or what we call as add-ins, in different type of software, such as it is called extensions in other software, such as, let's say, Microsoft PowerPoint, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, and all of those. Okay, you'll be able to add in those plugins over here and then use them according to your need, and that is very simple to do. So that is the only functionality that this plugins tab has to offer in Adobe Photoshop. But here what we're gonna do is go on Windows. In this Windows tab, what we're going to do is click on this, and you can see that there are tons of these tools. What we're going to do is go through them one by one, and you can also see that there are a couple of these tools that also contains different type of assigned shortcut keys. So first off, I'm going to do is click on Windows and Arrange. In this Arrange, you can see that how you want to arrange your data, or how you want your photo to look like, or how do you want it to view it. So what you're going to do is just select however you want it. Let's say I'm going to do is click on Tile All vertically, and you will see a couple of these photos. If you do have it, it will be tiled on vertically. Okay, let's click on Windows, go to Arrange. You can also keep it to be to up horizontal, tile up horizontally. That's totally up to you how you're going to do it. You'll also find that plugin, access your installed plugins. You can edit from over here, and what you have to do is just drag it over here, and that will be totally usable. You also have these comment section where you can also do that. You'll be able to do that on. You can also create links right out of your let's say the one you're working on the photo, and also share it just so that the other person can also start on from that progress, and that is totally doable in Adobe Photoshop. Okay, let's go to Windows again, and you can see that there are a lot of these options too which you can actually use. You can also consolidate all to tabs. that is like totally doable in Adobe Photoshop, so that you can get the whole view of the whole project and also all of the photos all at once. Then we have is tile, cascade, and all of those of viewing different type of photos and also the ton of photos which you imported in Adobe Photoshop. Let's say if you want to see it as tiles, click on tile and all of them will appear as tiles. Let's click on Windows panel again, or Windows tab, and then we're going to find out a couple of these arranged, such as float in window. So I'm going to click on float in window, and now you can see that this section has turned into a float in window and saving you a lot of these spaces so that you can add in more. Okay, you can also increase the size and decrease the size according to your desire. You can also click on Windows, go to arrange, and then you can also select float all in windows. Okay, so what you can do is like take it wherever you want and then put it and then start working on it. Okay, so that is like very simple of how those actually work. Then I'm going to click on arrange again, and you can see that there is this match zoom, match location, match rotation, and match all. Let's see how those actually work. You can also match the zoom of the photo according to your desire. So this is the section. Okay, I'm going to keep it over here. I'm going to press on Ctrl Z and I'm going to keep it over here. Click on Windows again, and then I'm going to go to arrange. I'm going to go to match location. Okay, so you will be able to use those tools for different purposes. So I'm going to click on Windows. I'm going to do is, let's say, cascade, or go to Windows, arrange, keep it on, let's say, tile. Okay, which is most of the time like this, which you'll be able to use. But if you don't want any of those, we'll just, press on Ctrl Z. And if you want it, let's say Windows, and click on consolidate to all tabs, and then that is the default self of Adobe Photoshop. And that is like very simple and how you will be able to work on those tools. Okay, so there are a couple of different type of tools which you will find in the same type of interface. Let's say I'm going to go to Windows, I'm going to go to arrange, and you can see match all, match rotation, and all of those. And then at the end is this new Windows for pixels, Sina, or Zakani. So you can open up this one. Let's say I'm going to open up the next one, which is the same thing as this one. Okay, but if you opened up different type of photos in Adobe Photoshop, you will be able to open that up very simply by clicking on that option. Okay, now let's go to Windows as we're done with this arrange section. Now in workspace, there are a couple of these options which you can select. So it's going to be depending on which type of interface you want to start working on. So most of the time on default, it's on essentials. Okay, but if you want to start working on 3D, click on 3D, and all the 3D type of interface will open up on Windows, or your screen. And then click on Windows again, go to workspace. Let's say if you want graphics and webs, on all of those graphics and web type of interface will open up so that you can like do all of those graphic type of content and also edit those photos according to your need. Okay, I'm going to go to Windows again, go to workspace, and then this is motion. All the motion type of interface on the motion type of tools will appear up. Then we have also different type of ones. I'm going to go to workspace again, and then you will find painting and photography. You can also go to painting, so all the painting type of interface will open up and all the tools will be available over here. Now you can also use a couple of other workspaces such as photography, the new workspace, and all of those. So I'm going to click on photography, and the photography type of interface will appear up. So these are the type of workspaces which you can start working on Adobe Photoshop. But I'm going to suggest you to use your essential, or let's say the default self, because that also contains all of the tools which you actually need as a beginner. Okay, so you can use those tools and try using it, because I'm like showing it to you like each and every step and how those tools work and where it is found. So I hope that you will be able to get through each and every tools without facing any problems. Okay, so the next tool which is going to be like useful, or which I'm going to show, is going to be a bit different, because in workspace we are mostly done, but there are also a ton of these tools which I'm going to show it to you right now. Okay, so the next one is going to be reset photography, or then all of those. Okay, so what it does is that resets your let's say resets your workspace and then starts working on it. Okay, Let's say I'm gonna reset photography and it will get back to something else. Let's say now it is on photography. If you want new workspace, just click on new workspace. You'll be able to make up your own interface, and after you're done, just save it, name it, and then save, and you're good to go. Okay, now click on Windows again, go to Workspace. Then we have this other ones such as Delete Workspace, Keyboard Shortcuts and Menus, Lock Workspace. You can also do that if you want to lock your workspace and keep all the tools and how you actually work on the interface. Just lock your workspace and that will be good to go too. Okay, you can also edit your workspace how you want the tools to appear up in your interface and all of those. Then we have is this keyboard shortcuts and menus. If you want to see the keyboard shortcuts and menus, you can also select on them and see how you will be able to assign, and also application menu commands too, such as this file. Click on this option and you can see new is none right now. You can change the color and all of those. You can see how it actually works, modified and visibility, color, and all of those. Okay, well, all of them will appear over here. You can go up and down to see how it actually works, and if you want to see the keyboard shortcuts, you will be able to see them through over here, which is what command is assigned to which key. Okay, you can apply on your own too. Okay, that is very simple to do in Adobe Photoshop, and Photoshop has that capability to do that. After you're done, just press on OK, and then you will be good to go with how you actually work on Adobe Photoshop. Okay, so then we have other tools such as all of these. Okay, so we are done with Arrange and Workspace. Let's go to the other tools, which is going to be Find Extension or Exchange Legacy. You can also find extensions and legacy, exchange them according to your need. It will take you directly to, Adobe, let's say website, and you'll be able to do that through Adobe Exchange. You have to log in first and then do all of those. Okay, let's say I'm going to keep it like this, and you can see that an interface like this will appear up. You'll be able to download whichever, content or whichever add-in, and you can also exchange it according to your desire. You will see some of them are paid and some of them are free. Okay, you can use whichever one you want. You can download it and directly apply it to Adobe Photoshop, and that will be directly applied to it, and obviously increase your functionality in Adobe Photoshop so that you can get access to a lot of softwares and a lot of functionality through Adobe Photoshop by not getting out of it. But if you don't do those add-ins and extension, if you don't add in, what you have to do is download the extra software and then work on it and then apply it back on Adobe Photoshop. So we can say that Adobe Photoshop is also very flexible and also takes out, let's say outer source as, add-ins or extension, and then allows you to increase its functionality. Okay, so you can get through it and download whichever one you want according to your desire. So I'm gonna cut it right now. I'm gonna do is close all or just go to Adobe Photoshop right now. So now we're going to go to Windows again, and then we have extension legacy. If you do have find extensions, if you do have extensions already, you will be able to apply extensions through this option. Okay, select it, whichever one you want. Then we have this 3D option, which I used in the previous lesson. Okay, which is also the same one. Okay, you can make your 3D details how you want it to appear and all of those through these options, which I used in the previous lesson, and how to work on it, even though I did not have any 3D details. So, and because this lesson or this course is all about being beginner friendly, so I did not try to make it a bit more complex, because this is a bit more complex and takes a bit of time to understand, and also with couple of examples you will not get full basics of Adobe Photoshop through it. Okay, so you can use 3D extension, extrusion, mesh from preset, and all of those, and see how it actually works. And then after you're done, just press on create, and all of those you will get a different type of result in Adobe Photoshop. But first thing is that obviously you're going to need 3D details, and then obviously you're going to need 3D layers in Adobe Photoshop or your PC. Okay, or let's say the workspace you are working on. Now you see that the photo has turned into a 3D model, or this 3D, let's say, cone, where you'll be able to see that. Okay, so I'm gonna do is keep it something like this, because I don't want it to be something like this. Okay, so I'm gonna keep it around this side and actually see the photo, because I can, if I rotate it a bit, you can see how the 3D detail actually works, and you'll be able to add all of those textures and all of those changes and all of those edits which you want to do. Okay, what we're gonna do is just skip this part for now. You can also use these tools to like see from wherever side you want to see it from. Okay, you can like rotate it, you can keep it horizontal, vertical, and all of those all together. That's like totally up to you how you're gonna do it. So I'm gonna hold this part and then drag it. Okay, so now you see that this is like something else. You can also use this tool to actually see how it actually looks like, you know, drag it wherever you want. Okay, that's like very simple to do in Adobe Photoshop. You can also see the, you know, perspective, and if you can't see it, just press on Ctrl Z and it will just revert back to itself. And if you don't want any of the things which you did right now, what you're going to do is just keep pressing on Ctrl Z or reset your photo to its default self, and then you will be good to go. But one thing that I suggest you to do is that keep on like adding layers before you edit in a couple of data. Okay, so that helps you to get back to the progress which you did a while ago, instead of losing what you did as a mistake. And sometimes some things or some, you know, actions cannot be undone. Okay, so I do suggest you to use, you know, a couple of these options, such as, you know, adding in layers and then editing your data or editing your photo. So that like helps you to have that, you know, flexibility to work through Adobe Photoshop. But it's totally fine if you can't like work on it first. Okay, so what you have to do is just use these tools and learn how to use these tools first, and then later on I'm going to show you like how you'll be able to do it step by step to get a professional type of result and professional type of categorized photo in Adobe Photoshop. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is going to be changing a couple of tools which I use right now by using this Windows functionality tool. Okay, so I'm going to do is, first off, I'm going to do is undo this, undo all of the undo all of the actions which I did to turn it back to the, you know, let's say the default photo. I'm going to press on Ctrl Z. Now you can see that the photo has reverted back to how it actually was. Now what we're going to show you is going to be a bit different. Okay, so from here what we're going to do is click on Windows, and in Windows what we're going to do is all about this 3D which we did right now, and then we have this action which can be also opened up by Alt and F9. Click on actions and you can see action type of interface will appear right over here, which is right over here. You can also find it like there. You can also find the history of what you did by now. Okay, like what you did. Okay, all of the work or all of the steps will be recorded over here so you can see it, and also if you want to delete it you can also do that. So I'm going to go to actions right now. Let's say I'm going to do is apply the vignette. Okay, let's say I'm going to do is apply which actions which I did. Okay, you can also apply those. Press on OK, and you can like see it that it is undoable, so you can see all the actions which you did too. Okay, that is like totally simple, and you'll be able to play through it too. Let's say I'm going to play it. It works a lot like, you know, a macro which we use in, let's say, Microsoft Excel, and all of those. You'll be able to automate all of the actions by saving it over here. If you lose progress, just click on this action which will be already saved, and you'll be able to play it just clicking on this option of play button, and those type of, you know, actions or steps will be applied to your specific type of photo which you're working on. And that is how the actions type or the actions actually work. I'm going to click on this option to remove this 3D option which I don't need right now. So next is going to be adjustment. If you want to make adjustment, you can see this option of adjustment, and we also have styles. Okay, so let's start off with the adjustment. If you want to fix up your photo, like let's say the lighting of the photo, the adjustment, or let's say the positioning of the photo, how it is, you can get all those tools right from here. Let's say the first one is brightness and contrast. You'll be able to do that using these sliders, or you can also fix up by, let's say I'm going to type in 50. Hit on enter, and you are good to go, and that is how you'll be able to do it. You can also fix the RGB, like let's say the curve of the photo and all of those. Then we have is this exposure. Then we have is vibrance. You can also fix that, vibrance and saturation. Then we also have this option of, let's say, fixing the hue, saturation, and lightness, which we also call HSL sometimes, which is also luminance, but this is lightness. Then we have is this other tool of color balance, which is also known as CB. Okay, then we have is black and white. Then the photo filter, you'll be able to add in filter and also fix the density of the photo or the effect which you're applying on the specific type of photo. Then on the other hand, we have is channel mixer, which is a lot like, let's say, color grading. You'll be able to fix out the red, green, blue, and the contrast of your photo by using this tool. And you can also select the output channel, like, and also the preset which you want to use right now. Okay, then we also have this tool of color lookup. Then we have is invert, and then posterize. Then we have is threshold, selective color, and the end we have is gradient map. Okay, you can fix out the gradient of this tool by using this option, and also your specific photo by selecting on whichever preset you want to use. We already showed it to you like previously in a lesson how to like use it. Okay, so if you've seen those lessons, you already know how to do that, but if you don't know, I'm going to be showing you later on in this course. Okay, I'm going to go to Windows again. Now I'm going to go to brush settings. You'll be able to fix all of your brush settings, even though all of them are grayed out. But if you are using this brush tool so that you can like use it to make some changes in your photo, then you can like fix up your brush by selecting, let's say, the brush type, what type of brush it is being used, the size of it, the color of it, what it is doing, and also the radius, the strength, then the feather. Okay, all of those you'll be able to do it from here, even though you'll also be able to use presets on your brush and what type of brush you're using. Okay, and that is also can be done in Adobe Photoshop. Then we also have is brushes, which is the same as this one. You'll be able to select specific type of brushes for whichever one you want. You can see that these are the type of brushes, and also they are categorized in 4 types, which is in Adobe Photoshop default. Okay, you'll be able to select or extend this part first and then see what type of brush it has. You can see dry media brushes. Then let's go to other ones and see how it actually works. Okay, let's go over wet media brushes, and you can see that this is how it actually looks like, wet media brushes, and this is how it is. You'll be able to do it after you make some changes to your photo, even though I'm just using just a JPG photo in Adobe Photoshop. Now let's go over here, and you'll be able to use these type of brushes too, and also the effects will remain the same. Okay, now we are done with this brushes tool. Now let's go to the channels. When you click on channels, you can see this option of channels. I'm going to click on Windows first and remove the brushes section because I don't need it anymore. Okay, now you can fix out the channel, which is a lot like filter, which you can apply. So this is the blue channel. Okay, this is the blue channel, so all of the blues has been inverted, and also the blues are being popped up in black and white. Then you can also fix the greens. Then you can fix the reds, the red parts, and then at the end is RGB, which is the default self of all or most of the photos which you are going to use in Adobe Photoshop. Then let's go to like other tools which it has to offer. Let's come and click on channels to remove it, and then let's go to character. You'll be able to fix the character, example, the text which you apply in Adobe Photoshop. So what we're going to do is click on this text option. Let's say I'm going to make a text box. You'll be able to make it like this, and now what you're going to do is going to be clicking on this option. You'll be able to select whichever font you want to use. You will also get samples. Let's say I'm going to use this, or whichever one you want. Let's say I'm going to use this sample, which is going to be Rockwell Extra Bold. So you can also change the size. Let's say I'm going to keep it somewhere around this. Okay, I'm going to do is increase the size so that everything is visible. Now you can see how it actually looks like. You can also fix the metrics by using these options. Let's say I'm going to use optical and T. Let's say you can change the numbers, but I'm not going to do it right now. Let's say I'm going to do is -10 and keep it to be 12. And let's say I'm going to keep it to be simple. Okay. Now we are done with this option, and what I'm going to do is just click outside of this box, and that will be directly applied to your photo. So let's say I'm going to do one thing is that remove whatever content I have, whichever I don't need. So I'm going to do is select a part, and I'm going to delete it. Okay, I'm going to click on this option again. I'm going to do is keep this to be deleted, and you can see how it actually looks like. I'm going to do is delete these parts too. And I'm going to do is cut those parts by using backspace in Adobe Photoshop, and you can see that this is kind of too congested. I cannot see the contents which it actually has in Adobe Photoshop, and you'll be able to type in your data too, like say GOAT. See, That's like very simple to do in Adobe Photoshop by using that tool of, let's say, go into here Windows and go into characters, and you'll be able to change all of those by going through this section. You can also change the text style and all of those by using these options, and you can also change it by using these. And at the end, you also have these tools of aligning your text or aligning your characters however you want and however you want it to appear in Adobe Photoshop. So let's go to Windows again. Click on characters. Let's go to character styles. You will see the same option will appear up, but right outside of it. So you can like apply in new character styles however you want. You can also add in character style ones and all of those, whichever one you're using. And if you save it as a preset, you will be able to use it later on whenever you want. And that is also doable in Adobe Photoshop. Okay, so I'm going to do is click on Windows again, and I'm going to be showing you up till, let's say, glimpse or gradients, because this, I don't want this video to be too long. I'm going to show it to you in like parts. So I'm going to do is click on clone source. Okay, when you clone the source, what you can do is going to be selecting a definite subject, and then you can like make clones of it just as we do in Control C by doing Control C and then pasting it wherever we want. Or what we also do is this: we click on Alt and then hold on to your like left mouse key and then, you know, change it or clone it according to our desire. So that is what the clone source does. You can also fix the offsets, heights, and widths and all of those according to your desire by using these options. You can also set the frame offset so that you can like change the position of the photo however you want. Okay, that is also like totally doable in Adobe Photoshop. And you can go through these tools and see how those actually function and affect your photo. Okay, I'm going to be saying that you can like literally go through each and every of the tools and see how it actually works, so that you can get the idea of how it works and affects your photo. And sometimes you will also see that it has made your photo into a really supple and professional looking one. So what you can do is also like color your photo according to your desire. You will see a normal panel like this will appear up. You will be able to select whichever panel or whichever color you want to use, and then fix the gradient and also all of those, whichever one you want. You can also swatch the like color by using presets such as RGB, CMYK, and all of those color options such as grayscale, pastel, light, pure, dark, darker, pale, and each and every one of those. You can like get through each and every one so that you can see the panel of how it actually works. Okay, so we are also done with this option of colors. Then the last one, what we're going to show it to you, is going to be the glyphs. Okay, you can like add in those type of symbols in Adobe Photoshop. Okay, you can use it, which is also quite similar to the ones we use in Adobe, let's say not Adobe but Microsoft PowerPoint, Microsoft Word, and all of those. Well, that is like totally doable over here on Adobe Photoshop too. So what you have to do is just use these couple of tools and how those actually work, know where it is. Okay, so there are also a lot of these tools which I'm going to show it to you in the next lesson. Okay, because this video has turned into a very long one, and if I like keep just recording it and also like keep showing it to you again and again, and you might feel kind of boring, okay, because this video being too long. So I'm gonna like end this video over here and show the rest of the tools later in the next lesson. So hope you understood everything about this lesson and about the tools and the usage and where they are found and what they do. Okay, so thank you for watching this video again, and also for staying with us. Welcome back to another lesson of Adobe Photoshop. In the previous lesson, I've shown you a couple of tools which are available on the Windows tab of Adobe Photoshop and the functionality it provides. So now I'm going to show you all about the additional tools which we are going to find out in the Windows tab of Adobe Photoshop. Well, this is going to be a long video because I'm going to be showing you all about the tools of Adobe Photoshop Windows tab, and also I'm going to show it to you that how and where you will find those tools and how you will functionalize that tool and utilize that tool. So without any further ado, let's just jump into the lesson. Now, in the previous lesson, I've ended on glyphs and how the tools actually work and affect your photo. But in this lesson, I'm going to start off from gradients. So let's see how the gradient tool is. I'm going to click on gradient. Now you can see how the gradient tool actually works. I'm going to click on it again. Click on gradients. And you can see that on the properties option, you will find these tools where you will be able to add in pixel layers and transform your photo however you want it to be. And also you can like quick action, you can remove the background and also select specific backgrounds according to your need. Okay, you can also fix the angle of the photo by using these tools. Okay, let's go to adjustment, which is also kind of the same thing. You will find the gradient option over here, create a new gradient map. You can also find this option like this. You'll be able to fix the gradient according to your need. And you can see that an interface like this will appear up called to be gradient editor. You can find out couple of type of gradients according to your need. Let's say I'm going to use this black and white, but if you don't want black and white, you can also use, blues, purple, pink, reds. Well, I've shown you a couple of these tools in the previous lessons of Adobe Photoshop and how those actually function and work. You can see I will be able to put this gradient over here too, and you can see this is now a bluish gradient. You can use other ones too. By clicking and getting a preview on your page, you can like drag it wherever you want so that you can get a full photo or the full preview of your exact photo. You can use other colors and different ones too. Let's say I'm going to select on this one, and you can see that color has been like directly applied. There are a lot of these color panels and like a couple of sections and also category of data which you can actually select on and then apply it on your photo. So you can like go through each and every one and select the type of color. Let's say if you want noisy type of color, you can apply that. You can also select a lot of color options which you will be applied, or like it will be allowed for you to like select on them and then apply it. You can also use different color models such as HSB, LAB, and RGB, all three of them. Okay, that's like very simple for you. Now you can see this is how LAB is. Okay, you can also use HSB. That is also totally doable. Well, all of them has different purposes to like literally apply and for specific type of works, but you can actually select on them and then actually keep working on them, or actually get an idea of how those actually function and work. You can also use the same thing by using solid and all of those all at the same time by selecting on that. But only when you select on noise, only you will be able to change the color model in Adobe Photoshop and in the gradient editor. Okay, you can like use this slider to actually get a different type of color according to your needs. So as you can see, when I drag it over here, the color panel is this changing, and I will be able to apply that specific type of color on that color model, which is kind of around green and also kind of around reddish. Okay, and after you're done, just press on OK and it will be applied. But if you don't like it, just press on Ctrl+Z or cancel the edit which you just did in your photo, and it will revert back to its default self. Now we know how the gradient tool works in the Windows tab. Now let's go to the other one, which is called the histogram, which is one of the most important tool in Adobe Photoshop and also Adobe Lightroom. Okay, so this tool or histogram is going to give you a preview of how the lights are constructing the photo, or the colors are constructing the photo according to its category. So from here, what we can do is, let's say you can also select specific parts and change it according to your desire. You can like select on this part. What you have to do is press on Control and then hold on to your mouse key and then drag by holding on to your left mouse key so that you can select a part and then make some changes on your histogram. Now you can see the green part is like a lot, then we have is blue parts too, and then we have pink parts, red areas, and all of those. As you can see that this is an option of giving us caution and all of those, but when I click on it, you can see the full and how it actually is constructing the photo and also constructing the colors of this exact photo and also the wavelength of the photo. You can also change it by going to like just go to properties and all of those and then fixing the the layer, and you can also find that by going on filter and then go to camera raw filter, which I showed you in the previous lesson about histogram and all of the tools which it has, and increases the functionality of your work. Okay, you can do that too, then fix your histogram and fix your lightings and also the colors, the shading details, and all of those by using histogram too. Okay, which is like totally doable in Adobe Photoshop. And also like it also has the same function in a different type of software, such as, let's say, like really familiar ones, Adobe Lightroom. Then we also have PixArt and all of those. Okay, so all of those softwares have the same type of functionality or same type of tool, which is the histogram, to fix the lighting and the wavelength and the color by using this tool. Okay, you will see the histogram will appear right over here, and you will be able to change it. And you can see that this is also the same as how it was on the first page. Okay, but now you'll be able to fix, you know, specific pages by, or like specific, like let's say specific areas by using this histogram. You can like select blacks, shadows, then also fix the exposure, then highlights and the whites. Okay, you can do all of them by using the histogram. So you know that histogram is, you know, kind of like a very essential tool to have in photo editing software such as Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Lightroom. Okay, so we are done with this part, so I'm going to click on cancel, and that is how the histogram tool actually works in Adobe Photoshop and also other, you know, softwares. So I'm going to do is click on this window again. In the histogram tab, I'm going to do is, you know, minimize this by clicking on it again. You can see that it has minimized. So what I'm going to do is going to be going on history. So the history tab, which I told you a while ago, is going to contain all of the works or all of the steps, or let's say all of the actions which you applied on your specific work or specific photo. Okay, you can like then apply or see how it actually was. Okay, now you can just click on the open, which I am using right now, which is open right now. But if you want to like apply whichever step or action you want to like see that how it actually was, but sometimes when you change your mind and actually see that how like you liked it, but now you want to revert it back to that state instead of using the state which you are using on open. Okay, you can like go to the history bar or history tool and then apply the ones which you applied a while ago. Okay, that is how this history bar or history tool is going to help you with. Now let's go to the other tool, which is going to be info. If you want the info of specific photo or the specific document, or let's say the project you're working on, or let's say the photo, okay, which is going to be simple. You can get like specific color adjustment, also the hex code, the width, height, and also the documentation and information, everything. You can just click on this info, or you can also use the shortcut key, which is going to be F8 on your keyboard, so that you get the exact info and the details about a specific photo which you are working on, or the selected photo. Now I'm going to click on this info again so that I can show you other tools, such as this is going to be layer comps. So if you want like layer couple of okay, let's say couple of photos which you want to use, you can like layer your document, or you know, your state of document. You can do it from over here. Let's say I'm going to like stick to this one because I only have one photo open in Adobe Photoshop. Then you can also go to notes to apply notes to your, let's say, your Photoshop, or you know, your specific photo. So this is what this tool is all about, layering comps. I'm gonna go on Windows again, and I'm gonna click on layer comps again so that I can like readjust it or remove it. You can also find it from over here. So there are a couple of methods of how you will be able to actually find out the specific type of tool and different methods. What you're going to do next is going to be going on Windows. Okay, after you go on Windows, you will find out this tool, which is going to be called layers. Well, layers are quite an essential part of, let's say, working on Photoshop. If you don't have layers or don't know the work of layers, how it actually constructs the photo or the work of the photo, okay, what you're going to do is add in a couple of layers so that when you make some mistakes on a specific project or a specific work, you can just revert it back to the first layer or the background layer, so that all of the edits made or the mistakes made can be removed by just, you know, just reverting back to another layer, or just transferring it from like another layer, or just, you know, just deleting a layer. So I'm going to click on layer. You will also find that option obviously right over here. Most of the times on this section of the screen, you can like add in layers and also add in, let's say I have hue saturation 1. You can also apply that. Okay, you can also add in color balance. That is also a couple of layers which I'm using right now. This is also the gradient map, which I can use directly apply. Okay, you can see the gradient editor. I can like literally select on whichever color I want and keep it to be, you know, different gradient, and that will be applied. But that is a different type of layer, but I'm gonna go on second layer right now, and then you can edit however you want so that all of the edits will be made on the second layer instead of the first layer. So let's say I'm going to make the second layer to be something like this, and that part will be the second layer. Okay, so that is how it actually works in Adobe Photoshop. So let's go to the other tools of not layers. So I'm going to click on layers again so that I can remove it, and then go to other tools without just showing you layers. What I'm going to do is click on Windows again. The next tool is going to be libraries. Well, all of these options are obviously, like visible in your screen. You can also go through here, but you can also find it through here. So I'm going to click on layers, which is found like over here. But if you want properties and all of those, just go over here, go to libraries, which is found over here, properties, adjustment, and libraries. So all of the library content are all of the, let's say you have extra content on your PC or other stuff, wherever you have it, you can like select it from over there and then start working on it. And that is how the library section actually works. It's going to like show you or represent you a couple of documents or couple of photos which you want to work on Adobe Photoshop. And that is like totally doable in Adobe Photoshop and also other software such as Adobe Lightroom, that is also visible over there. And also you can like use them for various purposes. So I'm going to go on Windows again. I'm not going to need libraries or layers anymore. So I'm going to click on that, deselect it. And then what I'm going to do is going to be, let's say, go to materials. Okay. If you want to fix up the materials or the details in their photo or your specific photo, you can select on it and then do your work through this, tool. But as I don't have any materials in my photo or, let's say documents or whichever tools I'm going to need for, detail using or material using. So what you have to do is just, if you have specific materials or let's say lighting, which is going to appear right now, you can like use these tools for various purposes and also to make your work a lot more better. And also to like, let's say make your photo look a bit different by fixing up the materials in your specific photo. As you can see from over here that there are a couple of these substances or materials which you can use in Adobe Photoshop. By clicking on whichever material you want to use, you can fix out the lighting of these objects too by using obviously Adobe Photoshop. But obviously I'm not going to show it to you like how those process actually works. But first off, I'm just going to give you a demo of how you will be able to put those on Adobe Substance Materials and also fix the lighting of each of the materials. Okay, so first off, I'm going to go off to materials. I'm going to select on this part. Let's say I'm going to select on this, click on this plus button if you want to add in that content, and you'll be able to see that the 3D hexagon which I selected is being applied to the photo where I want to start working on. Okay, so you can use whichever material you want to use in Adobe Photoshop and apply it directly to your screen and actually work on it. And you can see that there are also material properties which you will be able to fix. If you want to fix your resolution and keep it on high, ultra, or medium, obviously you're going to need high specs if you want high resolution of these objects to use in Adobe Photoshop. Okay, if you have a lower end PC, it might take a bit of time to actually load on these. Okay, but this is like for later purpose. But if you actually want to like keep your usage to be, let's say, casual and also professional, okay, you're not gonna need these tools like that much, but you just have to know how these tools actually work and how you're going to be able to do your work by using these options too. Okay, you can like fix all of these options by going through these tools which this properties of material has to offer. You can select the presets too by using these options. You can like change the ceramic color, you can change the spot color, you can also spot the color of it, fix the gaps, gap color. Then we have a ceramic size, ceramic density, pattern amount, then the pattern bevel, pattern variation, position. That is all available in Adobe Photoshop. Then we have is technical parameters and all of those. Okay, you can also select which format you want, let's say DirectX or OpenGL. Sometimes, like most of the time, I'm going to suggest you to use DirectX because OpenGL is not that optimized in like most PCs or laptops or devices which you are using. Okay, so I'm going to suggest you to use that to be DirectX if you are using these objects or materials in your photo. And then at the end is going to be how you want it to be, let's say the height and range, then the ambient, like occultation, intensity, and all of those. Okay, and then after you're done, you can fix the lighting by going through this lighting option such as rotation. Then we have is height, color, exposure, and then displacement, and each and every detail you will be able to fix it through Adobe Photoshop. And obviously it is like very simple to do in Adobe Photoshop. You might feel like after seeing a lot of tools this is like very complex, but it actually is not. What you have to do is just fiddle through a couple of tools so that you can actually get a hold of these tools. Okay, so we are done with this materials tool too. You can also find it from over here, but if you can't find it, just click on Windows and then go through materials. Then we have is measurement log. You can get your measurement log by this option. As I don't have any recorded measurements, you can get like specific measurements from these options or by using ruler tool and all of those. Okay, you can like go through each and every one of those tools to get, you know, specific measurements and record your measurements so that you can apply it on different photos. Let's say you have a 720p photo and the resolution of another photo is 1080p. Obviously it's not going to be the same. So what you have to do is that, you know, keep the measurement and apply it according to your need. Let's say this photo is 2080px into 3120px and 240 ppi. But if the other photo is, you know, larger than this, then you have to like crop it or, you know, fix up the measurement. So obviously if you measure the tool, like use this measurement log, you will be able to, you know, like determine one of the photo and its measurement. Okay, and then apply it on different ones too later on when you actually need it. So that is the work of this measurement log. You're going to see like ruler tools and all of those over here, and you can also remove them and delete them according to your desire. And you will also be able to save presets too. Okay, now let's go to other tools, which is called modifier, like modifier keys. So if you want like modifier keys such as Shift, Control, and Alt, okay, and you want to assign, you know, let's say shortcut keys and all of those by using these tools, you will be able to do that. Let's say the Shift is holding on right now. If you want Control, let's say Control A, and it will be, you know, applied. This is kind of like let's say on-screen keyboard, but only the, let's say, the functional keyboards which are used so that you can like do a couple of commands. Okay, so you can like use these tools and also select all of them at once too, so that you can like apply whichever key you want to use. Okay, sometimes this is like very useful in couple of, let's say, when you are presenting it, or, you know, presenting your document or presenting your photo in various purposes. Okay, so let's go to Windows again and remove this modifier keys, and let's go to other tools such as, you know, Navigator. If you want to navigate through your photo, which is a lot similar to the one in Adobe Lightroom, which appears on the left side of the screen, but you can like see these options over from here. You can like zoom in and zoom out using the slider and get a preview of it. You can also use this tool to go up and down. Well, most of the time what we do is press on Alt and then use our scroll key to like zoom in and out. But if you have this panel or this tool open, you will be able to easily zoom in and zoom out from wherever you want. You can also use this tool to get, you know, wherever you want to see it or observe that point. Okay, so now you can see that how it actually looks and how you'll be able to zoom out. You can also type in the number of your zoom level and also zoom out level. Okay, so this is how it actually works. You can also go through histogram by using this tool. Okay, so that is how you need to work on through Navigator. Then we have is notes. If you want to like add in notes so that the person who's going to get that photo or work on that photo again to get that note on Adobe Photoshop, you can use this like tool, notes, and then apply your notes so that when you pass it on to someone else, that person will be able to see that note and then actually work on according to that. Let's say you told a person to actually fix the crop, okay, like fixing the resolution and all of those, adding in the preset. You can just write on that content or write on that text to pass by, and then that person will know that they have to do this and that. Okay, so this notes tool is like sometimes also very useful, but obviously we also have other communication methods. But if you want to like do all of those works by, you know, Photoshop and you don't have any contact of that person who you are going to pass it by, then you can use this tool, you know, okay, this tool of notes, and then, you know, get the full potential of Adobe Photoshop. Then what we're gonna do is about the paragraph tool, which is like very simple, and I've already like given you how to actually use this tool. So you'll be able to fix out the alignment of the text and characters in your specific photo or the project you're working on right now. Okay, so there contains this left alignment, center alignment, then right alignment, and then all sorts of justified alignment too, so that when you apply it, you will be able to see how it actually works in Adobe Photoshop. Okay, so first things first, what we're going to do is going to be a bit different. Let's say you can also fix the indents and all of those by using these options and, you know, numbering the PT or the points. Okay, so that is how this paragraph section works in Adobe Photoshop. Then we have is also paragraph styles. So in the paragraph style section or the paragraph styles tool, you'll be able to add in specific type of presets of paragraph styles in your photo. So let's say you are editing or applying text on your photo. Okay, let's say you are editing, you know, a couple of text by using this tool. Let's just give you an example. Okay, so first off, what I'm going to do is make a text box by using this text box tool. Let's say I'm going to add in a text box like this, and you will see a couple of these, you know, text will appear up. I'm going to go on characters first, or, you know, use the tool where I will be able to add in those texts or, you know, change the style of the text. So let's say I'm going to keep it on 24 and then increase the size. And now see actually how it actually works. I'm going to double tap on it and you can see that there are no text available. So what I'm going to do is going to be making another text box. Okay, so let's say I'm going to do is click on this text box, and what I'm going to do is make a text box and add in my content. So what I'm going to do is going to be cutting off all of the details or all of the text which it has, so that I can edit in my own text. So let's say I'm going to do is cut each and every of the content by selecting all the content which is over here. Let's say S, F, G, H. So what I'm going to do is going to be, as I'm done, I'm going to click on this option. I'm going to do is drag it right over here, or, you know, keep, or let's say I'm going to do is make the text box right over here so that it is like super visible. I'm going to click on this option and it will make us a text box, and you can see that there is like specific type of, you know, text and paragraph style over here. But what you can do is going to be a bit different, because let's say I'm going to do is select on this option now, and now I'm going to use that tool by going to Windows and then going to paragraph styles, and then I will be able to add in that type of content or that type of preset. Let's say couple of fonts, couple of changes, couple of, you know, change of colors and all of those, and all those will be applied directly when I use this paragraph style option and select on the type of preset. Okay, so that is how this paragraph style option or paragraph style interface actually works in Adobe Photoshop. So I'm going to click on Windows again, and as we're done with paragraph styles, let's move on to the next tool, which is going to be paths. Just as I told you, most of the time you see an interface or a pop-up error which is showing you that it doesn't have a path. But if you want to add in a couple of paths, you can also do that by using these tools over here. Let's say I'm going to click on this option, and then I will be able to make a path for my photo. And then you can see that this is my path right now. Okay, or this photo is the path right now. You can also add in specific type of, you know, let's say contents by using the tool of path. Okay, but if you have like paths ready, then you will be able to select or change or edit any type of content in between the path of the photo. Okay, so this is kind of like, you know, like specific folders which you want to like edit or, you know, customize in your PC. Okay, that is how the path section actually works. Then we have is the other tool which we have over here is patterns. So I'm going to click on path so that I can remove it. Let's go to patterns and then change the patterns according to my need. So I've also shown you how this actually works, okay, in a previous lesson. You can like go through each of these options so that you will be able to apply whichever type of pattern you want to apply in Adobe Photoshop. Okay, let's say I want this whole photo to look like this. Just click on it, and that pattern will be applied directly on my photo and give you a specific type of result. It might take a bit of a time because, you know, I don't have my specific like selection, you know, taken, so that it takes some time. So I'm going to select on this option, and then let's say I'm going to do is make a rectangle over here, or the rectangle box, so that I will be able to apply that. I'm going to select on this option. And what I'm going to do is going to be selecting on this options, which is from pattern. So let's select on this pattern. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is when I click on this option, and you can see that I already have my layers on, you know, the photo. It will like literally apply all of the patterns which I selected on a specific photo. It's going to take some time for a couple of time and all of those, and maybe a couple of seconds, but then it will be directly applied to the photo, and then you will get an exact result. Now you can see that it has been directly applied to my photo, and then I can also change the patterns according to my need. If I need something else, let's say water, and then you can see water has been applied to my photo, and that is how the pattern actually works in Adobe Photoshop. So I'm going to click on Windows again, and I'm going to do is click on Patterns, and then I'm going to do is click on Properties. Well, Properties is this section. Well, it's going to give you all about the properties of the specific photo you are working on, and that is how this tool actually works, and that is the type of workspace it is. Okay, so we are done with 2 of these tools of Adobe Photoshop and how we are going to use these options or these tools in Adobe Photoshop to get, full result of it. Okay, so I'm going to undo back again so that I can get my photo back again so it looks a lot more better. So I'm going to do is pressing on Control Z so that I can get my photo at a certain time. I'm going to click on Windows again, click on Properties, as I don't need that layer or that interface anymore. So I'm going to click on Windows again. Now let's say I'm going to do is, let's say, go to Shapes. If you want to add in shape or add in a couple of details to your photo, let's say if you want boats, I'm going to click on boats, and I'll be able to apply that specific adjustment or specific photo or that shape on my specific, let's say, my photo. Okay, you will be able to use like shape properties and all of those to make that shape. Actually, as you can see from over here, it takes a bit of a time, and then you'll be able to apply it however you want. Okay, so that is how this shapes option actually works. Well, the shape option has like a vast amount of shapes which you'll be able to use in Adobe Photoshop to actually make changes to your work in progress and all of the pictures and also the content which you are making. Okay, so as this photo has like a vast amount of sources to make changes to your photo, just as I told you that Adobe Photoshop can make anything look like professional grade and also casual use, and obviously for professional or career purpose. Okay, so what I'm going to do is going to be pressing on Control Z because I don't want that shape to appear in my photo, and then I want the photo which I already have and the default self. So what I'm going to do is just press on Control Z, or reset my photo so that I don't have any of the content left which is like extra added. So now the next tool which I'm going to be showing you is going to be swatches, timeline tool, presets, and version history. So let's start off with the swatches. If you want to swatch up, just like I told you a while ago, like specific type of gradients of colors and also the category of colors, let's say color like panels and all of those, let's say patterns can also be set, but I would suggest you to use palettes. Okay, you can use those palettes and also those colors, specific type of colors, by using this swatches option or the swatches tool. Okay, then we have is this timeline. In the swatches tool, you'll be able to see the same type of the color models and all of those color patterns and palettes which you can actually use in Adobe Photoshop to maintain your color balance and your specific type of work or specific type of project. Then the next tool what I'm going to be showing you is going to be the timeline. If you want to see the timeline, okay, it most of the time is very useful in editing videos and all of those, but you can also use it in Adobe Photoshop to maintain photos too. Okay, so what you have to do is just see the timeline, and then you'll be able to make your video and also cut it and then edit it according to your desire by selecting on a specific time, let's say even like milliseconds and all of those. Okay, so you'll be able to do all of those by using this tool of timeline. Then the next tool is going to be tool presets. If you want to use the tool presets, you can see that these are the tool presets which you can use, but as there are no tool presets defined for a current tool, then you will not be able to use it. But if you use specific tools, like before using this or opening up this tool section, you will see a couple of the tool presets which you actually applied in Adobe Photoshop, and you will see them over here, and then you can also apply it by selecting on, let's say, zoom tool 1 and all of those according to your need. Okay, and then you will be able to apply those presets and all of those according to your desire. Now let's go to Windows again, as I'm done with this tool presets too. And if you want like version history, you can also see that, and all of the version of the history of Adobe Photoshop will appear over here. Well, sometimes it takes some time, but if it's like new, then it's going to be mostly blank and not give you any result. Okay, as you can see, the version history of cloud document will show here. Okay, if it actually has, or if you updated your Photoshop recently, then you will get those details, but if you don't, then you will not have those details over on the history tab. Okay, then we have is this options, and this over like tools which you can actually use in Adobe Photoshop. Okay, when you click on this option, you can see that the options, tools, and all of those have appeared up. I'm going to click on Windows again, and you can use the tools too. Now you can see all the tools which are like appearing over here have now been removed, and that is how this option actually works. And at the end of this Windows tab, you will see the photo or the specific type of photos which you are using in Adobe Photoshop. Obviously, if you have like a lot of photos open, like different tabs, and those photos will also appear over there. Then what I'm going to do is going to be click on timeline and click on swatches, because I don't need it anymore, and I'm not going to need properties too. So I'm going to click on or deselect them so that I get a full, clean windows or a clean screen to work on. So that is how this interface actually works on Adobe Photoshop. Then the last tab which we have is going to be the Help tab. In the Help tab, there are a couple of these tools or a couple of this information which you can gather by using these tools, such as Photoshop Help, hands-on tutorial. If you want like tutorial, you can see them, then which is like what's new about the newer version of Adobe Photoshop. Then you can get the info about Photoshop. You can like know about plugins and all of those, camera, raw, which I showed you to. Then we have a system info, then GPU compatibility. If you see that your PC or the device which you are working on about Photoshop is stuttering or causing some problems, then you can see the GPU compatibility and get the result out of it. Okay, then you can manage your account and make sure to stay connected to the internet, and also to use the newest version of Adobe Photoshop so that you get all of the newest tools and all of the bug fixes too, and get a smooth and the full potential of Adobe Photoshop. Okay, so we are done with all of the tools and all of the tabs and all the functionality Adobe Photoshop has to offer. Okay, so hope you understood everything about this lesson in Adobe Photoshop. Well, there are a couple of these things which you have to remember about the tools and usage of the tools and where they are found. Okay, now the last thing what I'm going to be showing you is going to be exporting your photo and also sharing your photo. If you want to share your photo or share your project in Adobe Photoshop, what you have to do is that click on the share option. If you want to share it, you will see an interface like this will appear up. Share for review, which is on beta, and we also have invite to edit. If you can also invite other people to edit the same type of work or the same photo you are working on, just click on this invite to edit, and that person will be also able to edit the same photo which you are working on and also make progress together. Okay, so that is like the new function of Adobe Photoshop, even though the other sharing option is like beta, but we just have to stay tuned to Adobe Photoshop to get that information and get that usage of tool too. Now I'm going to do is going to be going on files. Okay, then we have is this option called export. If you want to export your photo, just click on this export, and you can see a couple of these options over here. You can also render your video, pass to Illustrator, and all of those, but the main thing is that exporting your photo. There are a couple of methods to export your photo as. You can select on export as, or also quick export as PNG, which is going to be on image format. But what I'm going to do is click on export as, and you will see an interface will appear up on your screen, and then you will be able to export your photo however you want it to be like. Okay, well, sometimes it takes a bit of time, but you have to wait for a while so that this interface appears up, and then you'll be able to apply all of the interfaces and apply all the properties, and also make changes and also the formats, and maintain it however you want so that you'll be able to make changes on the photo and export it. So what I'm going to do is going to be selecting on the format first, which is the main thing. Okay, you can make it to PNG, JPG, and GIF. And you might sometimes ask that why is there only 3 of these formats? Obviously, Photoshop is, an image manipulating software, so it's obviously going to help you to process your photos. So obviously, one of the main are like, the main formats are PNG, JPG, and GIF, and all of those. But if you are making a video and you want to render your video, then you will see other formats will also appear up. Okay, then you will be able to fix your width, height, scale, and resample it according to your desire. Then there are other of these options. If you want metadata, just click on copyright and contact info and all of those, and all of your details will appear up on that photo. And then you will be able to fix out the color space and all of those. And after you're done, what you're going to do is going to be clicking on this option over here, which is going to be something a lot similar to which we see most of the times in Adobe Photoshop, like our Adobe Lightroom. Okay, so I'm going to do is press on OK, and you will have that specific type of photo or specific type of, let's say, this interface, okay, to like export your photo. Click on this option and you will see it will be exported directly to your, as this interface appears up. What I'm going to do is click on this option. You can also change it from over here, but as you've selected PNG from over here, what I'm going to do is going to be selecting on my personal drive, and I'm going to do is click on save. It will take a bit of a time to export my photo and save it where you want it to be saved, and sometimes all of the edit has to be saved so that you can actually apply it and also make changes to it and also actually save that photo. But if you want to directly save your photo and save a bit of time, just click on this export option, quick export as PNG, and that will be directly saved on your PC. Okay, you can see from over here, which I saved a while ago. I'm gonna do is click on save, and you will see that photo will also be saved and wherever you want it to be saved. So these are all of the functionality and all of the tools which is offered by Adobe Photoshop. Okay, so hope you understood everything about this course on Adobe Photoshop and about the usage of the tools, where you'll be able to find those tools and make changes on your own. And if you feel like you didn't understand a part where you need more help, please let us know and we will guide you through the process and also help you as soon as possible. So thank you for watching this video and also for staying with us. And if you want the full advanced guide too, so stay tuned. I'm also going to be showing you the advanced guides and advanced the videos and how you'll be able to work and make progress advanced. Okay, so thank you for watching this video again and also for staying with us, and I hope to see you in my next course.